I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramble Man Podcast episode number 44. This one is part 2 of my dating stories with guest host Krista Weatherholt. Again, she doesn't want to be found online, so no outbound links for her. Again, our sponsor is Feral Giant. You can find them at feralgiant.com and on social media at Feral Giant. Without much further ado, here's our episode. I'm trying to think, do you want me to start this one with a funny story? Or do you want to start with one of your questions?
Let's just dive in with a funny story.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Perfect. There's a woman I met on Bumble. And as we got to chatting, she's very flirty and very aggressive. I was like, okay. So it's weird on the apps, like there's some people that they want you to chit-chat with them a lot more. Some people are more like, let's just go out. So with her, it's like, okay, let's just meet. We met for lunch or dinner up at La Esperanza.
Good choice.
Yep. What's funny is I would say I've been on at least a dozen dates at La Esperanza, which I think is hilarious. And we sat there for like 3 hours and talked. It was good. Like, she lives not far from here. So the first date went well. She was a little flirty and everything, which is fine with me.
I'll say that's a good first date.
Yep. Good first date. Again, 2 kids. Her mom lived with her. That's a little wink and a nod right there. Off mic wink and a nod. Seems like a trend.
A little bit of judgment there. Okay, keep going.
So the next date, I can't remember what happened, but it was almost like she had plans, like she had to do a work thing. And so I met her afterwards at Suttrie's downtown at like 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It's like, okay, cool.
I'll say that's the day after a first date. That's pretty good.
No, this was just our second date.
Oh, okay.
This was like a few days later or a week later.
Even that, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. So we sit there and we talk, and same thing. She's flirty back. Our bartender that night was a buddy of mine, and he was pretty shit-faced, which was kind of funny. She went up to the bar at one point, and some dude was hitting on her, trying to get with her, which she just rolled her eyes out and laughed. I was like, okay, cool. She's comfortable enough in herself to come back here and not be like, hooked a better fish or whatever you want to say. Yeah. So it ends the date, and I walk her to her car, and she's parked over in front of Coffee and Chocolate. She's parked like a block on street parking around the corner. Walk her to her car. She's going to her car. Oh, something I forgot to mention. She's 5 foot tall.
She's 5 foot.
She's 5 foot flat. 5 foot tall. I think she was wearing heels, so she was probably like 5'3", maybe. And I am not. So I wonder if I still have the text with her. So she... Nope. Damn it. I deleted it. That's okay. So she, I think we hugged, and that was it, and she got it. But as I walked...
Did you have to pick her up for a hug?
No. No. Well, so it's second date. So I'm afraid to listen back to our first episode because I'm afraid I'm going to sound like a giant pig for talking about boobs and bodies and hotness. But I don't know how...
They all play a factor.
I know.
It's not all about that.
I don't know. But she... we turned the corner, I noticed coming up the sidewalk towards us was a homeless man. I forgot about that part too. So he's walking up and he's just standing right behind me, just waiting on me to be done with her so he can ask me for money. And so I gave her a hug, put her in the car. Second date. I need to keep reiterating that. Second date. So then the minute she shuts the door, I hear, "Excuse me." I turn around, I was like, "Man, I ain't got no money. Sorry." It's like, "No problem." And he starts walking back towards Market Square. And so as I see him start to turn towards Market Square, I forgot a lot of the story. That's why we're recording this. We had shut down Sutry's on like a Tuesday night. It was like 2 a.m. or a Thursday night or whenever. It was like 2 a.m. when all this shit happened. Maybe it was a Friday night. I don't know.
It was late.
It was late. And as I watched the homeless man start to walk back, and I was kind of waiting on her to turn on her car and get going before I saw 4 drunk-ass dude bros walking towards the homeless dude. I was like, shit. So I started walking towards the corner, and I got to the corner. I was like, nope. And I turned around to watch the dude bros and how they interacted with the homeless dude. Because if they had said anything or done anything, I probably would have stepped in and been like, "Leave him the fuck alone, you drunk assholes." Like, I wouldn't have.
You were ready.
I was ready. So she was sitting there and she saw that. So she lives not far from me. And so we're both like, 10 minutes from downtown?
Yeah, easy. Easy 10.
So I walk back to my car and I get in, I drive home. Another thing about me is I never talk on the phone or look at my phone when I'm driving. So I get home, pull in, unlock my door, walk in, pull out my cell phone to throw it in the charger or whatever, and I look, and I have a text from her that says, "Do you not find me attractive?" And I was like...
And that's all it said?
That's all it said. I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, you didn't try to make a move." I started laughing to myself.
You weren't aggressive enough.
No. And so I said, and I thought on it for a second. I can't remember the order of this, but I said, well, a few factors. Number one, there's a homeless dude behind us. The response I got back was, "Yeah, I saw that." I was like, so
wouldn't that
threw me
be
off a
kind
little
of
bit.
awkward?
That threw me off a little bit. The other thing is you're 5 foot tall, and I'm not, so it would have been difficult for me to get down there to kiss you.
You'd basically be down on your knees.
Yeah. And she was like, "Yeah, I guess that's true." I was like, "Okay, so no, you're very attractive." I said, and also it's second date, and my mom would probably smack me if I just assumed that I was going to get a over the pants handy on the second date. Sorry. If I'm going to go gross, I'm going to go ahead and go all in. But it's just dumb. It's like it's second date. There's no touching or anything at that point. It's like,
I mean, at least you guys hugged. You hugged.
No
you put her in the car.
Yeah.
But who wants to make out in front of a homeless dude that's like 2 feet from you?
Yeah. And the other thing was, I said, and if you didn't notice, I noticed the dude bros, and I was a little bit nervous for the homeless guy. And she was like, "Yeah, I saw that. That was really sweet." I was like, okay. I almost want to go, why didn't you think of any of this shit? Why
so she's not very smart.
Well,
common sense wise.
I can't even remember how that one ended. I think we tried to go out one more time and it just didn't work out. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think this one is crazy. I think there may have been some other red flags, but that was a big one. Like, oh, I forgot one of the God, I forgot most of this. I'm gonna have to edit the shit out of this to make it all line up. One of the things she did say was she was used to most guys on the second date making a move, which made me think, oh, so there's been a lot of them. Not that I'm slut shaming, but it's also like, wow, what kind of dudes are you dating? Like, yeah, that was one of those. I was like, I think
that would be a flag.
Yeah, I forgot that was one of the other things she mentioned.
That's definitely a flag. Okay.
Is that a funny story? Good enough?
That's good enough.
It gets us back on the rails.
Gets us back on track. But red flags, man. Well, speaking of red flags, do you see a lot of those based on second date?
I think I think I said this maybe on the last one in case I'm repeating myself.
I know you give the benefit of the doubt a lot.
I give the benefit of the doubt.
But do you think that
sometimes I will excuse a little bit of a red flag, although as I've gotten older, there's some that have not even made it past the app because I can see how terrifying it is or what could happen. This is a weird thing to say as a positive to women I'm dating. I don't know how to say this politely, so I'm going to say it honestly. There's a lot of them where I want to say, if you've made it to the third date, that means I actually like you. And I think that sounds a lot meaner than I mean it to.
It sounds horrible.
But it's the truth. It's like with that one, 2 dates. And all
that
kinds
was a
of
good attempt.
So done. Shut it down. The one where she... her photos were out of date from the last episode. That was one date, and she already showed a little bit of crazy. It's like, done. So I don't mean it to sound mean, but it's like if you've
made it to... There's some red flags that outweigh others. Okay, right. Makes sense.
If I make it to a third date, that means, hey, I'm actually interested in this person, or I want to explore it more. I'm not just given the benefit of the doubt. I've not seen any red flags. I've not seen any reason to shut it down. And I know that's, but it's also, I hate to say it, I'm going to quote my friend Erica Beck here. Guys' brains are waffles. They're compartmentalized.
Yes,
women's brains.
Spaghetti. Spaghetti all the way.
Have you heard this before?
Yep.
Everything touches.
Yep.
Okay, so Erica quoted it from something there. But it's just, in my compartmentalized brain, it's like, no, if it's not working. It's also the other thing of being prepared to be married. There's a lot of it where it's, if this is not going to go into that track or this isn't just going to be fun, then
there's only 2 routes.
Yeah, I got to be done. Well, there's 3 routes. There's done, there's fun, and there's sustaining.
Yeah, but nobody wants to get on route for done. Just...
Yeah. Well, I mean, every person I start dating or swipe on or whatever, there are 3 outcomes. I guess that's what I meant. There are 3 outcomes. This is not going to work out. Either you or me. Whatever, doesn't matter. This is fun, to put it politely. Or this is, I would like to pursue this.
Makes sense.
Okay. So the red flags, yeah, I've been able to pick up on those. And there's been a lot to where it's like, automatically in my head weighing the good and the bad. Like, is all the shit I'm going to have to put up with worth putting up with? There's a very aggressive thing one of my buddies, I've heard a guy say, which is, no matter how hot she is, someone else is tired of putting up with her shit.
Tired of putting up with that crazy.
Yeah. And that's a very mean way to look at it, but I think when somebody finally said that to me, I was like, I think there were a lot of people, up till my friend saying that to me, there were a lot of people I tolerated a lot of shit from. Because I was like, well, but we're in a relationship. We're dating. And, this is just how it is. Because if you watch movies and shit, that's how it is.
Well, it'll be okay because of this. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I've gotten into arguments with some of my female friends that, and this actually delayed, me like putting up art in my house, because I bought my house and I started doing stuff to it, and then like a year in, one of my friends said, "Oh, don't do much to your house, because if you get a girlfriend who turns into a wife, she's going to want to redo everything in the house. So nothing that you do matters. And I took that to heart for like 10 years. I hate to say that, but
For 10 years?
Yeah, for 10 years. I know. I'm a dumbass. But it's also, I think the argument part came from, but I'm a graphic designer working in color all the time. Like, you didn't, I don't know if you, but like the color in the office, I picked that out. The color in the kitchen, I picked that out. Like, these are, like, that's what I do for a living, is pick colors.
It's your house.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
This is boring, and I need to redo curtains and shit, but it's also, I'm a single dude to where it's like,
that's not a priority.
No. And now it's all, normally you wouldn't see it, but with the HVAC out, I've got all the windows, the blinds closed to not let in sunlight. But anyway, I think that was I think I took a lot of that to heart until my buddy actually said that to me. Is like, no matter how hot she is, somebody's tired of her shit, or whatever however he said. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I am actually a worthy human being that I don't have to be shit on. Like, what movies.
You need somebody that values you. Yeah.
That's what movies.
Well, do you think that you've listened to too much bad advice?
Oh my God.
Or taken advice the wrong way?
Very judgmental. That sounds very.
Dun, dun, dun.
No. I think as I've gotten older, I've been able to separate the wheat from the chaff. Like the woman that I mentioned before, the 10% woman, how like one of my female friends was just completely shitty to me. And I realized later, it's like, well, she was married for like 7 to 10 years. And she is almost, God bless her if she hears this, but another female friend said about her, it's like she's a dude in a woman's body, because she talks about just going out and getting fucked. Like, not saying women can't be that, but that was a female friend who was like, that's aggressive. Like, and that's not a
really aggressive
normal way of looking at things. So when she gives you, when that person gives me advice, not to listen to her that much, because it's her. And she also, I think, every time she talked to me about stuff, she essentially talked to me like I was stupid and I didn't know anything about dating. And I learned after about 6 months of hanging out with her that I needed to just not listen to her. And it hit a point to where I just stopped sharing with her because I didn't want to hear the bullshit. Yeah. I'm trying to think the last time I talked to her about dating. Oh, we talked a little bit the last time I hung out with her, and she was already being super judgmental with the latest person.
Oh,
I will go, what the fuck, man? You're not giving it. And she was like, well, you need to confront her on, are you dating or just hanging out? This is after we had hung out one time.
Oh, that's too intense.
And we were hanging out the next day. She's like, well, you need to talk to her tomorrow and see if you're dating her. Like, that's, yeah.
That's too intense. No, you got to have conversations about stuff like that with a more casual aspect.
Yeah.
Open-minded. That's important.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, but to your point, I think as I've gotten older, I've also learned to kind of watch for bad advice, or to know whether or not to listen to it. Oh my God. Yeah. Something else that happened in this week since we've recorded. So I'm doing a contract gig, and my old boss is there, who's awesome, but she's a nut. She's one of the ones who kind of shit on me and told me I was too friendly with all these women. So there's another woman at the contract gig that that drives the same car as me. So, which is funny because I drive a little blue Yaris. And so we went down to the first floor. I needed Post-it notes. So she took me down there, and she walked up to the young woman, because the young woman, one of my other friends there, was like, the person who drives the other blue Yaris has been asking about you, asking who's the big giant bald bearded dude who's driving her car. I was like, well, who's the other person who's driving my car, motherfucker? Like, just laughing. And I was like, is she a tiny person? They're like, she is tiny. Like, she is teeny tiny. She's like me. I can't tell how tall she is, but I'm going to guess somewhere between 5 and 5'4", and maybe weighs like 100, 120 pounds. Like,
that's like anybody.
She's tiny. So the car fits more for her than it does me. And but my boss took us down there, and when we walked up, it turns out I've met her before. She is in Big Brothers Big Sisters and does Mentor 2.0 like I do, and I saw her backing out on our last meetup, which was the last one of the year, and I saw her backing up, and I just waved at her. I was like, I'm that one back there. And she's like, I was wondering who that car was. I was like, well, she said her name, and I was like, I said my name. I was like, well, it's nice to meet you, like that. And she's very pretty, and I was like, I went and hung out with my buddy that night and smoked cigars. I was like, damn it. I meet this awesome person on our last time together. It's like, why didn't I meet her earlier in the minute? Damn it. Missed opportunity.
Timing is everything.
But in a fate like she works at this company. So when we walked down there and we sat there and talked, and I was like, she was like, you do Big Brothers Big Sisters? Like, I do. And she was like, I was like, holy shit, you're the one that, and she's like, yeah. She's like, I just put that together too. And so we chatted for a minute, and my boss was like, we have to get a photo of the two of you by the cars because that's going to be hilarious. I said, yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it. So we walked back, and I got my Post-it notes when I was in there, and I was like, she's attractive. She seems sweet. And my boss was like, oh,
you're going to go that route?
Do you like her? And I was like, no, in a positive way. Because my old boss swears that she's the matchmaker. She's hooked up all these people. I worked for her for 5 years. The only one she tried to hook me up with was pajamas.
Pajamas?
Yeah. Or...
we talked about...
not pajamas, sweatpants.
Sweatpants. Oh,
sweatpants.
No.
So, who is in the office, and I see a lot, and I laugh my ass off when I see her.
Does sweatpants acknowledge you?
No. And she does that thing where she is willfully not looking at me. Because you can tell.
I am too busy to break my fake focus.
Yeah. I just laugh because I think it's so dumb. And I got to make sure that if I ever actually do get to talk to her, make sure I do so I have a big hand. So there are times I'm going to shake your hand. So there are times when I shake someone's hand that I make sure to like
latch in there.
Really get my hand around and be like, big dude. Yeah. Because I hate to say it, I've gotten dates off my handshake. I shit you not.
Okay, I have to know how you've gotten dates off your handshake.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Let me finish it. So,
side note.
So former boss, Jill, oops, I named her. That's okay. So as we're walking, and she was like, would you go out with her? I was like, I would go out with her. And so as we're walking back, I can see her eyeing to look at her. And I looked at her and said, not fucking right now. What are you doing? You're going to walk up to her. Jill is so bold. She'll walk up to her and is like, do you have a boyfriend? And then just look at me. And I'll be like, I'll kill you. I will kill you.
That is not how you go about setting someone up.
I was like, Jill, you ask. Don't put me in that awkward ass situation. Like,
oh my gosh,
I love Jill to death, but that cracks me up. Like, how I got a date via handshake, and I'm trying to remember if I was walking down Gay Street, and one of my friends was hanging out at Sapphire with 3 other gal pals. Well, 2 of the gal pals I already knew, so I went and I hugged all 3 of them, and then the 4th gal, which she's a crazy story, but I don't think it's worth telling. Like, it's a one that just kind of ghosted and ended in an awkward and weird way.
That's a lot of just dating.
But we're still friends on Facebook, and she has 2 kids, and I don't know. It's fucking weird. One of my mutual friends said, you dodged a bullet there. I was like, who's one of the nicest people I've ever met? I've never heard him say something negative, and he said something negative about her. I was like, oh, shit.
That's a lot of weight.
So,
okay.
Sapphire, I hug my 3 female friends, and I shake the hands of the 4th gal, and I go to Suttrie's. I think I was actually going on a date at Suttrie's. So I was on a date at Suttrie's.
Picking up dates on your way to your date.
And so I all of a sudden get a text from my friend, and she was like, that one really enjoyed your handshake. I was like, oh, she had a moment. I made her shiver. I made her clutch her pearls. Like, I made her get excited. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, hook it up. I was like, I'll go out with it. I don't give a shit. Like, and that friend never hooks me up with anybody. Like, she always says she is, but she never does it. Like, it's so fucking weird. Anyway, so it ended up, I don't know how I finally went out on a date with that woman, but it was weird. Like, we set up a date before we set up a date, and then we bumped into one another at a beer festival before the date. So we ended up having a kind of a date.
Pre-date date.
Pre-date date. And then we went to lunch, and then it didn't go anywhere after that. And it was super. And she was kind of snippy to me after that. And I will go, nope, I tried. You didn't. No, stop shifting the blame on me. But that one I got off a handshake. And I've had plenty. God damn it, that sounds so shitty. I've had plenty where I've literally watched someone go, oh, like that. And it's like, oh, Jesus, calm down.
Shaking them up a bit.
It's just a handshake.
Apparently, it's more than a handshake.
It's more than a handshake, apparently. But yeah. So yeah. And I've had some women just from a handshake or a hug. There's some women that have literally walked up to me in like at a party or something, and then can I? There was one woman who's standing across the way from me, and I was talking to a friend, and my female friend noticed that woman standing over there just kind of staring at me, and she's like, "What's up? Do you want to meet Jody?" And she's like, "Can I have a hug?"
Oh,
that's not creepy at all.
That's uncomfortable. That's awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one. She came up and gave me a hug and wanted a picture with me.
And a picture?
And a picture. And then another woman there was 5 foot tall, and she wanted to come up and get a picture and get a hug. They both friend requested me that night, and it never went any further than that.
How drunk were they?
Not too drunk. And they also did not have boyfriends forever. Like, it was super weird. It's like I actually tried to chat. I was like, oh, they're great.
Why not?
Yeah. And one of them ended up doing that awkward, avoiding looking at me at a like. There was one time she did it to where a whole group of friends noticed it and said, "That was weird as shit. What the fuck is wrong with her?" Yeah, that happened with another woman at one of my First Friday exhibits. My buddy, after that night, said it was like she was trying to not talk to you while standing right next to you at your art exhibit. He was like, "That's fucking weird." I was like, "Yeah, it is." It's like, "Welcome to my life, brother. Welcome to my life."
That's really going out of their way.
I know. It's weird.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, a second
Did
ago...
I answer the question about the red flags, kind of?
Yeah.
And the advice, I've just learned who to take advice from. I think a lot of it, I don't really want to hear advice because at
this point,
I don't know who's going to give me good advice. Yeah. Not to be a dick about it, but it's like if I've got a friend who's been married for 15 years, how are they going to give me advice on what it's like dating? Like, they are so out of it. They miss the apps. They miss...
I'll say dating's changed so much in 15 years. How would they know?
But I think a lot of people assume because they're married or whatever that they know better. It's
they might have advice on some things, but that doesn't mean everything is going to be
they might have it
gold.
Yeah. They are people I would look to advice for, like...
relationship advice.
Well, no, like...
on some level.
The current situation I'm in.
Yes.
Where it's so unaware. But when it just comes to dating in general...
No.
Yeah, no.
That'd be like asking my mama.
Yeah. Oh,
no.
I'm going to call them all my mama.
Just call...
Okay, sorry. You said...
So, a second ago, in one of your answers, you were kind of saying it was like fate. Describing...
Oh, yeah, the woman. Yeah.
The woman with your twin car.
Yeah.
How do you feel about fate? Do you think that maybe some of it could be meant to be and that's why it's taken so long to meet the one?
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot. And it's felt that way when it's been the awesome ones that ended up not working out. God, I hope the power doesn't go out. Although, what the fuck would it matter at this point? Although then I would lose my fans.
Also, you're not going to have a fan and you might smother in your own home.
I might die, yeah.
You might be better off sleeping in the grass.
I've got a big pop tent in there I could just put up on the...
That's Suffocation Central.
No. It's one of those
yes.
Yeah, that I thought about getting out for us to sit out there and record. If the power cord wasn't around to where it would have gotten rained on, I would have done that. And I didn't want to just blow through batteries on this thing because this thing blows through batteries. So fate. yes, I do believe in fate to a point. Have you ever seen the movie Serendipity?
I love it. John Cusack.
Did you know he's coming to town
And I
you're going to
won't
miss
be
it?
here.
Yeah.
Like I'm so bitter. I'm contemplating driving back down.
Have you already got tickets?
No.
I don't have tickets. If you actually come back, let me know.
I will just like
looking
hang
for an
outside in the
excuse.
alley.
I'm looking for an
and just
excuse
creep.
to go back. Yeah, go to it, but I just haven't. I don't know.
I want to so bad.
So I actually like the line in that film that Piven says in his Best Man speech where he's, that's one of the 5 films I've seen the most in my life.
Really?
Shawshank Redemption, When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, I love that.
Shit, I've already forgot these. Back to the Future, Serendipity. Can't remember what the 5th film is.
I can support the majority of those.
Yeah, Serendipity. But when he says something like fate is a thing, but it only takes you so far, at some point you have to grab it. And I think there's been a lot of relationships I've been in to where I've almost looked around but like, you see what's happening, right? Like this is fate. Like this is
It's all the little things that line up and come together.
But it is weird to me, like, how many ones kind of seem that way? Like, do you remember me telling you about the banjo picker?
Yes, which did
that should
not.
have been a fate
yeah.
thing. Like, and I'll tell you another one. So I usually show films twice a month at a local venue. And there's this woman who came that's 6 foot tall, very pretty, but she would come with a guy. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Like, not that I have a thing for tall women, but it was just...
It just happened to be someone that caught your attention.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm swiping on one of the apps, and she pops up. I was like, holy shit. Guess she's not with the guy anymore. So I immediately right swipe, and we connected. I was like, oh, shit, she right swipe. And I was like, you came to the movie night. She was like, I did. And I noticed you. So I right swiped, and it started going really well. We go on a first, I'm trying to remember what our first date, although this is funny considering what you're wearing. This goes back to the dressing up thing. It's like a Saturday or a Sunday morning.
Also, let's not judge me because you're HVAC witness.
I know. I'm not judging that. But no, I'm going to be able to point and go. So it's like a Sunday morning, middle of summer, hot as shit. We meet at a coffee shop. I wear pants. She shows up in running shorts and a tank top. And she had gone running before. And I was just like, God damn it. I wish I knew we could dress down for this shit. Like,
did you say that to her?
No. But I thought about it. But the first date was, she ended up being very open. And she told me one thing, which I will not repeat here on the mic because should have been a red flag. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt. That was like...
being too generous with some of those flags again.
I know. But I think it was one of those things where I was like, no, she made an educated guess on checking herself. So I can respect that a little bit. Anyway. So we sat there and talked. It was great. She was goofy, which I liked. Like she was dorky. And I was like, this is great. And we left and like text her. And then we tried to make plans to make another day. And then something happened. Like she was like, I'm going to this cocktail tasting at Knox Whiskey Works with my next door neighbor and her daughter. Would you want to come along to it? Like, oh shit, yeah, sure. I'm trying to remember if I wore pants to that. I think I may have wore shorts to that because it was like Wednesday night. I figured it would be a little bit more casual, and it was. So I showed up, and she and I ended up hanging out. Like her next door neighbor and her daughter were not really hanging out with us. So it was just two of us, and we sat there and hung out, had a good time, and then I will say there is a woman that I'm friends with that is ridiculously attractive, but also like 22. That as that woman and I are sitting there, she walked by and went, oh, hey, Jody, like that, and came over and gave me a big hug. I was like, boom. It was like, yeah. And then the other one started looking at me a little bit better at that point. I was like, really? Okay, cool. It's like, fine. I'll use this in my favor. So we ended up just walking around downtown. We went and got a drink. And I walked her back to her car. And she parked over at World's Fair Park. Oh, God, you're making notes.
I have the bad memory. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Second date. Not kind of a hangout, not really a date. We walked back to her car. She parked over at World's Fair Park, kind of. And she, I don't want to say molested me, but she
just kind of manhandled you a little bit.
She did manhandle me. And the funny part, she's 6 foot tall. I picked her up. And her eyes went googly. She was like, oh, my God. I don't know that I've dated somebody that can do that to me. I was like, yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, baby. You beat me to it. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, baby. But I was like, and she just aggressively, I was like, well, this is awesome because she's great. She's great. Like, awesome. This is working out. Second date. Third date. Kind of the same thing. We went to La Esperanza. Then we went to Pretentious and had beer, and then came back to my house, and same thing.
You know how they hand out cards for if you buy 10 sandwiches, you get one free. La Esperanza needs to have a date card for you. 12 dates in, your 13th date is free.
I would probably have passed that by now. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Just saying.
I should try and figure out how many dates I've been on in La Esperanza. It's had to have been at least a dozen. That's hilarious. I don't know why. Because it's a cool place and most people don't know about it.
It's right there.
Yeah, and since
I just ate there today too.
Food nerd and shit, it's like a hidden gem.
It really is.
So, we come back to my place and very aggressive. Very aggressive. I need to keep reiterating that. It's awesome. She's great. Third date. She made it to the third date.
I'd just like to point out that it's 4.
I did that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do we need a list of
Is this good? Is this good? I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. We're having a middle finger off. Yeah, read between the lines, mother.
All right.
So let's say that was a Friday or Saturday night, and we made plans to go see a Blue Plate. She works downtown.
Okay.
I work for myself. So we made plans to see a Blue Plate special on the next Tuesday. I was like, great.
Going well.
So Monday... So Sunday night, I was up till 3 or 4 in the morning working on a project, and then had to get up at 5:30 or 6 to go pick up my dad to take him to surgery. So I was on hour and a half sleep, sitting in a waiting room waiting to hear that my dad was okay. All of a sudden, I get a text from this woman, the 6-footer. That was my nickname for her, the 6-footer. And then I went out with other 6-footers. Like, damn it. Okay.
It's like you're going fishing or crocodile hunting. It's a 6-footer.
So
it's like she's a boat.
We're texting back and forth, and she said, it's going okay. Let me see if I still have her text. I kept some of these because they're fucking hilarious. Yep. Holy shit. I do have it. I was like, wait, here we go. I was up till 3 trying to wrap up as much of the work on the map as I could. Had to get up at 4:30 to get ready and go pick up Dad. If you haven't figured out, I'm not a smart man. She was trying to, she was being playful with me. Maybe you can nap, yada yada. Let's see, yada, yada, yada. And then I was like, okay, he's out of surgery. Everything seems to have gone well. And I was just waiting for him to be released. And this was Monday, and we were going to go out we were going to meet for Blue Plate on Tuesday. And then in looking at this, I realized Wednesday was July 4th. So some friends were having some people over for July 4th. Like, do you have any plans for Wednesday evening? Tentatively thinking about doing this, had to invite the link. What were you thinking? I was like, I'm going to a cookout, and I'll be head to a deck to watch some fireworks. Welcome to join. You're welcome to join one or both. If you're already planning, no worries. And she put, this is her response. I can't wait to watch you when I say this.
Oh, my God.
That sounds fun. So I was thinking we'd be better as friends. I'd still like to go to Blue Plate tomorrow if you're up for it. And I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I would love to know why, but also might not be my place to ask. She's like, I really enjoyed meeting you and getting to know you. You're a lot of fun. Something inside tells me we wouldn't be compatible. I've ignored that before, and it hasn't ended well. I was like, well, there's nothing.
So why did she make Okay, keep going.
It's like, well, there's nothing. I said, there's nothing to combat that. Not sure I'd be up for Blue Plate tomorrow. I understand. Best wish to your dad. And I said, thank you. And that's the last time we have talked. That's another one of those women where I'm like, can I go get my gaggle to go yell at her what an idiot she is? Like,
just smack her around a little bit. Just rough her up.
I can't do any of that.
No.
But that's crazy talk, right? To break up in the middle of a text and then still be like, can we still go to the thing tomorrow?
Okay, why did she make plans to go do that? Having one conversation with you and then, oh, by the way, not feeling it. But, no.
Yeah.
No.
And I feel like
it's like she's trying to sneak that in under the radar.
Yeah.
You notice, but not really notice or care.
Yeah. So it kind of goes back to, like the one who said, you're a great guy, but the physical attraction is not there 3 months in. The 10%er, after what, 2 months, 2 months? This one I almost feel like we went on 3 dates. Maybe give it 1 or 2 more dates before you make that judgment.
But also,
I will say the three dates were all within like about a week of one another. So it wasn't like we were going out it was soon. So I still feel like it was almost too early to make that call.
Well, also you have to think about women's intuition.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes you just know. All of a sudden shit kicks in and it's just a little light bulb goes off. Boop.
But I also don't understand. I'm going back to the 10%er too.
I don't know why that would take so long.
No. The 6-footer and the 10%er. Why? The question I have is, why were they so aggressive to me if they weren't feeling it?
Sometimes they have needs. Been a while. I don't know. I'm not those people.
For me, because I got hurt in both those instances, maybe be a little bit more upfront about that.
Maybe you should be.
They should be.
No, I'm saying both parties should be. Hey.
No, with the 10%er, I was like, this is going amazing. I'm lucky that we are in a relationship. Like
you guys had said a relationship and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing with the physical attraction's not there. Yeah. Yeah, that one on our third date in my house, she at point blank asked me, she's like, are you still on Tinder? I said, I still have it on my phone. She's like, it's time for you to get rid of that. And then we went out for 3 more months, and then she broke up with me because the physical attraction was not there.
She got a better offer.
No, she didn't date anybody.
No.
Soon after that. No, it was a couple, 3 months.
I don't know. We're a little crazy sometimes.
At least you admit it.
Oh, I admit it.
Okay, you wrote something down.
All right, so I wrote down a couple things.
Just a couple things?
Just a couple. Just a little bit. So, kind of based upon what we've been talking here.
God, I still have so many other... Okay.
I know, there's a bunch. We got a lot of ground to cover.
I know.
Okay, so you mentioned, this young 22-year-old girl. What was the biggest age difference with somebody you've ever dated?
That leads to the story.
Any connections there?
So one of the points... So I'm trying to think older than me. I think the oldest I've ever dated... The biggest age gap older than me has been only like 2 or 3 years. And I don't know why that is, but it's just how the chips have laid. Younger than me, there was one of the points where I was dating 6 people at once, where I dated one woman, woman.
That just sounds like a lot.
I know. I was at a Halloween party right back here at friend's place, and there was a woman who's a musician there, who I'd known a little bit, but not known that much. She sat out on the back deck with me. I think at this point I was 34, maybe. I think about 34. I'm trying to remember where this fit in. 34. I was about 34. Let's go with 34. We were sitting back there talking, and she, musician, classical musician.
Okay.
So she had been around adults her life, so she was a little bit more mature, all that. And when she left, it was down to the husband and the wife of the house where we were at and me. And as we were leaving, the wife was like, you all really seem to have hit it. No, I take that back. I went back over there a few days later, and the wife was like, you all seem to really hit it off back there. It's like, yeah, we had a great time. It was awesome. And the husband was like, she's fucking crazy. You don't need to go out with that. And then the wife was like, I don't know, man. She's sweet, and you're sweet, and she's a lot more mature for her age than would let on. And, you know, you're not an old man, so I think you all should go out. I want to hook you all up. And the husband was like, I don't see this ending well at all. So...
What was his reason for her being crazy? Why did he classify?
We'll get there.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and also, I will say the guy this young woman dated, before I give you her age, the guy she dated before me was like 42 or 43. Yeah.
When do I get to hear her age?
So, 2 days later, the wife was like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. This is not going to be a good idea. But by that time, I already had it in my mind. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it a go. I think she was 21 or 22.
Oh.
I didn't feel so bad for a few reasons. Number one, the guy she dated before me was literally twice her age.
But that should have been a flag.
I know. And also because she did not act like a child. Like, she acted a lot more grown up. And she was just sweet. She was great. Like, she was awesome. So we did go out for a while. And then it just kind of, I don't know, it quietened down, and then it picked back up. Like, it was a little on again, off again. And then it ended because we were sitting in Senor Taco, and they were not bringing out chips fast enough for her, and she literally smacked the table, and she went, I want chips. And I went, I'm fucking out. It's like, she's a goddamn child. So I had her in here on my notes as Senor Taco Hissy Fit.
Oh, my gosh.
And so what's funny is she's now, yeah, I guess that'd be right, because she's like 28 or so now. Maybe she was like 23 or 24. She was younger than me. But she ended up getting married and moving away, and I bumped into her big ears, and she came up and was super polite. She's like, I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you in a while. How's everything going?
You still throwing fits about chips?
No. But that was funny. Like, yeah. I think that's the biggest age gap. Yeah.
Do you think that a big age gap like that would really matter? Now?
There's ulterior motives to your... I think I'd struggle. And I know you and I have argued about this in a text. I think I'd struggle because of her dad. Because I'm still Southern. And I just don't feel comfortable with that. I think that person is great. I think the cart you're putting before the horse is you don't know if there's any interest in my direction.
I'm just asking in general.
Yeah.
I'm just asking in general.
I think for no, I will say, here's a weird way of looking, and I've been yelled at. I'm curious if you're going to yell at me about this.
I've yet to yell at you, so let's see.
One of the reasons I kind of set a limit on not dating somebody older for a long time, and even still till now, is because I would still like to have kids.
Understandable.
And I know even at 40 or 41, I can still physically have kids.
There's a shelf life.
Yes.
Let's put it like that.
Yes. So I think whenever I've been on the apps and stuff, like the highest I've ever said it is like 42. Because I was just like, over that, I'm either going to be a stepdaddy, which I'm still like to have kids, like, or it gets into dangerous ground, or it's adoption. which
Yeah.
are options, but I would still like to try to go the natural route if at all possible.
You just want to have the full aspect of it.
Yes.
All the experiences.
Yes. So that's a little bit why. Yeah, that's a little bit why. I'm looking at my list to see if.
But
there's-
in the other end of the spectrum,
yeah.
like you set that age limit for.
Oh,
the
for the
oldest.
upper end.
Yeah.
So last time I
So
had
then the other
apps-
end.
I had it set because so my little sister is 11 and a half years younger than me. So I'd always set it. I accidentally had it set at her age at one point, and she popped up, and I about broke my goddamn phone.
God.
Yeah. So I always set it for 1 year above her. Yeah.
So your sister has popped up on your dating app
Yeah.
as a potential match.
Yeah. I could not left swipe fast enough. But that was always my guide for that. I think there was a point where I had it set at like 25 or something. Because it was also, I hate to say this because I do kind of sound like a dick. I also don't act my age. I still go to a lot of shows. I still go explore and do a lot of fun and cool shit. And I know age is just a number, time is just a
There
construct.
are some people that conform to ages and some people don't.
Yeah. Hell, just this past week, I asked a group of people at the contract gig that are younger. I was like, how old do you think I am? And one of them said 32. I was like, I like you. I was like, I haven't been 32 for a very long time. But yeah, but I think it would be hard dating anybody. I think, I hate to say maybe late 20s if they were super like mature and had their shit together and all that. I probably wouldn't see a super. I would probably have to get over. Do you know much Yiddish?
No.
There's a word called mishigas, which is like your own internal craziness, your own internal.
Oh,
like,
I got boatloads of that.
Yeah, your own internal. I thought it was originally intended as like your own bullshit, like stubbornness or something. But I've read the book again. And I'm like, fuck, that means crazy. So I think I would have to get past a little mishigas to be able to do that. A 23-year-old.
That.
Yeah, but that's who you're talking about. Without putting too.
I'm really not. I'm just trying to see
Man.
some levels here.
Okay.
Because I mean, like in your early 20s, you're still completely immature, even though like you're just joining the workforce
Yeah.
or like getting out of school and things,
Yeah.
and where you are at early 20s versus 25, and then from 25 to 28. Like that's just huge.
Yeah.
Huge differences in a short time span.
Although
So that's why.
the 28-year-old tits out, dicks out, that's not super mature either.
I forget about mature. That's just insane.
Yeah.
That's like a little porch stripper. Like I don't know what you
Porch
call that.
stripper.
Porch
That's-
stripper.
That sounds super redneck. Hell, that girl's nothing but a porch stripper.
Just a little porch hoe.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, did you have any?
You know, I shouldn't have written with my left hand. I'm not sure what that word says.
Because I'm worried that the first part of this is me just telling stories till the cows come home.
Well, but they're all good stories.
Thank you.
Okay.
Think.
So, I know you give the benefit of the doubt, and we talked about red flags, giving
Yep.
everybody chances.
Yep.
But what about emotional attachment? At what point do you think that starts happening? And is there like a pretty steady point for you on that?
No. I think it's also hard for me to drop the L word.
Or even just feeling like obligated or attached to someone, and
say-
not necessarily the extreme of like dropping the L word, dropping bombs on that.
I'm going to use weird examples. I think can be, if they get past 3 dates,
Yes.
I feel like I can feel a lot more committed before it becomes like Facebook official or we drop the L word, or But it's even like, I don't know how to say this with the current situation. There's already some people that consider us.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I would not.
But there should be a question to follow that.
Yes, there should.
No, you should have a question for me.
I should be like, where do you stand, though?
I don't have a problem with that. Because if I like them enough, I'm actually okay with that. Like, because we're not cementing anything. We're not buying rings. But if it's...
But it's nice to know where you stand. But if the current situation,
if it's we are dating, then I'm good with that. Because she's fucking awesome. And
but it's nice to know where you stand and what's going on.
Yeah. That's not for me to decide, apparently. God, I hope. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just going to like breathe heavily and awkwardly.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any. Nope.
Is there any?
Nope. That's okay.
Can you just say, like, would you like to go out on an official date? Like anything? Can you just...
No.
Little nudgy at this point?
Apparently we're going to do lunch.
Lunch, that's kind of like a neutral zone. That can go either way. How many lunches have you had now with this current potential?
We've hung out twice.
Air quotes.
But I would say the last thing we went on was a date. Because we went out to dinner. We both dressed up.
I mean, you wore pants.
I wore pants, by God. And we went to a party together. And we stayed out way the fuck past her bedtime. So
that sounds like a date.
It was a date. But I think it's the nature of... So, God, not to put too fine of a point on it and not to be too obtuse to people, to the 3 people listening in. But the current person has children. So it's the problem we're running into is managing her children being watched. And that's why there seems to be some hesitancy, or not hesitancy, of just, I think it's creating a stress point for her and invariably creating a stress point for me to where, yeah. I would like for her to own that it's like...
Own where you're currently at.
I would like her... If I had my druthers, she would say, I like you. I would like to pursue this. But this is a nightmare dealing with trying to get...
Here's my areas of concern for me, my stressors regarding this.
If you can see your way to working around that, I would like to continue on. If that sentence came out. But is that the waffles versus the spaghetti thing?
A little bit.
Yeah. That she can't just be as abrupt and just put a pin on it and say, this is where I'm at. And also, I feel like as a guy...
But sometimes as a woman, like, you just get tired of shit and just say where you're at. Yeah. I mean...
And I think as a dude, the weird thing is, I don't feel like I can say that without feeling like I'm putting pressure or an aggressor. Even though I'm not. I'm just...
I think you've been put in so many situations that you're concerned about that. Yes. And sometimes it's okay to do that.
It's okay to be concerned, or okay to...
It's okay to both. It's okay to be concerned about doing that, but it's okay to nudge.
I think, and sometimes in situations like this, I'm hesitant to nudge because I'm hesitant to fuck it up.
Or are you just worried that what they're going to say?
Yeah. And I'm worried... I'm worried that it's not that she doesn't like me. It's that she is going to be like, well, no, you're just putting too much pressure. And it's going to force eject.
But if you think that that's how they're going to react to this, is that not something that you could be concerned about for the whole relationship aspect?
No, but I don't think we're far enough into where I can make that statement. I think we still need to get a little bit further along before.
A few more official dates.
And I think some of it is also me, and that, like, I would like to say that to her face. I don't want to say that shit to a text. Or
no, and that can always be misconstrued too.
Yes. And I also understand her point of, like, not wanting me to meet the kids, or priorities, and also not want me to meet the kids because you don't want to confuse them. I totally respect all that shit, even though I just called it shit.
Stuff.
Stuff.
Can we edit that to say stuff?
Nah, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little frustrating. It's a little disappointing. So I'm in this gray zone right now of like, I just would like it to work. Like.
Well, yeah. Understandable.
That's how I feel. At the same time,
time is a very valuable thing.
at the same time of talking about the other Yaris gal. But I've also dated enough to know that the situation with the mom could break at any second and go not great, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot for something else.
I feel like that's kind of on a teeter-totter right now.
How do you mean?
Like, I feel like that could go either way, that current mom situation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I feel like I'm a little bit on ice, and I have to be kind of ginger. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Well, your lunch date, lunch outing.
Yeah, if it happens.
If your lunch outing happens, maybe steer the conversation gingerly.
Yeah.
Just casual. There's got to be some sort of casual way to have that conversation.
If
with
there
a
is, I don't
delicate
know
person.
that I found it. Yeah. Oh, my God.
In all the years of dating, you have not found the casual way to nudge into this?
It's got to fate. It's got to happen exactly how it happens. And if it doesn't and it's forced, it's fucking bad.
Well, I'm not saying to force anything,
know.
but a way just to strike up a friendly...
But if I'm saying, like, on this one,
yeah,
I've got to get an answer. I can't do that. I've got to let it kind of happen when it happens.
Well, we'll get back to that in like 4 months.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe a month.
Oh.
Okay. Did you have another?
Yeah, so you happened to mention that a lot of your dates have children.
Oh.
Is that a common
I have
theme?
mentioned or haven't?
You have. It seems to be very common. Do you think that it's because of ages or...
I think it's probably less than 50%, honestly. It just happens.
It just so happens the crazy ones have kids.
No, I'm going to look. Let's see.
They're stressed out.
Out of like let's say 41 I've got listed on this sheet. I have 41.
41.
Yeah. Let's see. 1. Jesus. 2.
How many? Come on. 2? You got more than 2 on there.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here.
And I feel like part of the conversation we've had so far, like it's been mentioned at least like three times.
3, 4.
You're thinking really hard on this.
5. Shit.
Decent amount?
6, 7, 8, 9.
Are we going to hit 10?
No, 9.
No? Ooh.
We hit 9. Did not hit double digits.
All right. Almost 4th.
So 9. But I will say there
Realist.
are at least a few stories on here about high school relationships.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
And some of these from earlier 20s. So, but yeah, so what I say, 9? So 9 out of these 41 funny stories had kids. And some of them, that's part of the reason why we didn't kind of end up going out. Like, it just didn't work out with them being able to get somebody to watch their kids. One, here I will tell about this one. One we met on a dating app. I'm trying to remember if we were supposed to go out on like a Sunday, and she ended up, but we talked a lot. Like she friended me and followed me everywhere, and we talked a lot. Just 2 boys. And it was a Sunday, and she was one of those like, I have my kids all the time, so it's going to be very hard for us to go out. I was like, that's fine. Whenever you make time, I'm here. I'm a single dude. Like, as long as I'm free, I'm good with that. So we finally figured out, like, a Sunday, I think we were going to go to brunch. And I was like, okay, cool. So we made plans, and then I get a text from her that morning. Hey, I'm going to have to bail on you. It's like, okay. She's like, I went out drinking with the girlfriends last night, and now I went to Taco Bell. So I'm not feeling really well this morning. Part of me thought, so you could make time to go out with the girlfriends last night, but you couldn't make time to go out with me last night. And I think we had been talking long enough to where that made me realize she had the kids every other weekend. So there was another weekend where we could have gone out and we didn't go out. So it's kind of like...
it's not a big priority to her then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she canceled on me and apologized. I was like, no problem. We'll figure out another time. And then we just never figured out another time. And it just kind of went away. But we still followed one another, and we still liked and commented and shit. And then she posted something like she's a teacher. We were trying to go out at the end of the school year. Then she posted at the beginning of the next school year, every guy I've gone out with over the summer has either been a drunk or an asshole or something like that. And I thought, okay, so she gave a bunch more guys chances and I didn't get another chance.
Sounds like it's because she wanted to have fun.
If you listen to her talk online, she did not.
Oh.
Yeah, it is weird.
Okay. Interesting.
So when she said that, I sent her a DM and was just like, hey, is one of the people you happen to mention, is that this person? And she was like, yes, how did you know? I was like, well, because he's a friend of mine, and he's a drunk, and he's an asshole. And she was like, yeah, he showed up to our date drunk, and then he talked about himself the entire time. And I almost said, so he got to go on a date with you, and I didn't get to go out on a date with you. Cool.
Ooh.
Cool.
You almost said that.
Almost said that. I did not.
Why didn't?
Because I'm not an asshole.
Well, sounds like that's her type.
So then she ended up posting about she is one of the ones where it was like the minute she started posting about some dude being in her life and yada, 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 I was just like, I'm out. Oh, the thing I forgot to mention was she was supposed to meet a friend. I think one of the reasons why we didn't end up going out was that Friday she was supposed to meet a friend she hadn't seen in a long time at the Pilot Light, the Friday after she canceled our date. That's why we couldn't go out that weekend. And then on Saturday, I said, how was Pilot Light? Oh, I ended up canceling on him. I was like, so that's what she does. And I think that's when I just kind of let it drift a little bit away. And she was kind of short to me a few times on Instagram about if I would be going out, if I was out somewhere. She's like, I would like to have gone to that or something like that. And I was like, we know you're a fucking adult with 2 kids. You could ask me out. Like, it's 2019 or 2018 or whatever it was.
She can go out too.
Yeah. No.
Interesting.
I think I friended her on Facebook, but I think she still follows me on Instagram to where every once in a while she'll like one of my things. She does still follow me.
Interesting.
And apparently she is still with that dude. Because there's a photo of the two of them together on June 1st. She's so happy.
Well, yippee.
Oh, that's funny. The guy, drunk friend that she went out with, he doesn't still follow her either. That's fucking funny. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Well, how many of your dates that you've gone out on, whether it was like a one time or 2 time or whatever, went from having potential to no potential to this is much better as a friend thing? How many were friend zoned?
Ooh. Probably a handful. There were some that I tried and it didn't work out. 2 of those are on here. I could talk about those.
Let's hear about those.
So those are called Out of My League 1 and Out of My League 2.
Oh.
So both of them were like 2 or 3 years apart. Again, I say this not trying to garner pity. I get that I'm a big schlubby bald dude. They're both ridiculous looking. Like, both of them. And both of them, we were kind of friendly to begin with. Oh, I'll tell the first one. It's funny. Her story. So we were people who followed one another on Twitter.
Okay.
Back when Twitter was bigger. This was a long time ago.
Previous to it being, just being memes. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just being politics.
Oh, God.
So we followed each other on Twitter, and I sent her a message. I was working on a project, and I was like, she was somebody who's kind of clued into the city, and she was like a office manager at some law firm or something like. But she just seemed very clued in, but she was also very pretty, and I was just like, earnestly, I was just like, I honestly thought I never had a chance in hell with her. So I was like, hey, would you want to meet up? I'm working on this project. I'd love to hear your ideas on it. And she was like, yeah, that'd be great. I was like, cool. I was like, do you want to just meet up for drinks? Yeah, that's fine. So we set a time to meet up for drinks Wednesday, like a Tuesday or Wednesday night at Bistro by the Bijou. So it's like 6 o'clock. I get a text from her, and she's like, hey, I still have to work out. Can I work out and then meet you there at like 7:30 or so? I was like, I think we were supposed to meet at like 6:30 or so. I was like, yeah, that's no problem. She's like, I'm sorry, I just got delayed. I was like, no problem. So, 7:30 rolls around. I wore pants. I did wear pants. Because at that point, it was a business thing. I was working on a project, and I was getting professional,
I like that the pants designate the level.
Yeah, it's either professional or dating. Or twofold.
There's no in between.
No.
Which I feel like those would be capris, but.
No, I'm not wearing capris. So I show up, and I get there a little bit early. And then she shows up at 7:30. Or actually, I think she was running a little bit late. And she was like, I am so sorry. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm on my way. It's like, cool. She is wearing, like, her hair is done up. And I was like, okay, I didn't expect that. And she is wearing the smallest dress humanly possible. Like, when she was sat on the bar stool, I could see her hoo-ha.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was so low cut. Anytime I talked to her, I was trying not to stare at her boobs.
She's trying to make up for being late.
She looked like a hooker. Like, she is so obscenely attractive. And she was dressed to the nines on like a Tuesday. And I was just like, and her hair was, like, I can't get over how her hair was done up.
And she worked out, but her hair was done?
Yes, it was super weird. But I found out later, she was just super weird. Like, God knows. So we sit there and we talk for like the first hour about this project I'm working on. And then we just started chit-chatting. So it's 7:30. The bar closed at 11. Our bar closed at 10. At like 10:30, I realized we've been sitting there past. And I look at the bartenders like, I'm sorry. And they're like, just hang out. You're fine. It's like, we'll let you know when you need to leave. It's like, cool. I think I paid for my drinks and she paid for her drinks. So it was Dutch. And when we left, she grabbed my arm and she was like, this was fantastic. We need to go out again. I was like, oh, shit. This turned to a date like an hour in. It's like, fucking A, man. She's amazing. Super sweet. If you met her, you would either think she was dumb as shit or I don't know. We'll get there.
Okay. I don't know where to go with that.
She's ridiculously attractive. I don't, because the entire time I dated her, I was just like, I don't understand what she sees in me. Like, I'm a big goofy idiot. Like, she could literally get any guy she wanted. Like, it was crazy to me. And it kind of went on, and it was kind of on and off. Like, it was weird. Like, she got excited about going and seeing Man of Steel with me at a midnight showing. Like, that was like, really? She's like, yeah, it looks good. So I had a cookout here, middle of summer, and she was coming. This is the best. So she shows up a little bit late, and she was like, I'm at the lake. I'll be a little bit hanging out with the girls. But I will be there. I was like, cool. So she shows up. She walks around the corner. She is wearing a bathing suit and a see-through wrap. I was like, oh my God. And she was like, what are the ice pops? She's like, I brought ice pops.
Oh my God.
She was stoned out of her mind. And I was like, that's fine. She came up, gave me a big hug, and came inside and put the ice pops up and was chatting with people in here. I'm going to be pointing to furniture, which does not make for a good podcast, but it's fucking hilarious. So she came out and hang out with me, and she met some of my friends. And a lot of my guy friends wanted to talk to her. I don't know why.
I couldn't possibly wonder why.
So she came back in. It's hot as shit outside, and I was manning the grill. She went and used the bathroom, came in, sat down in my big seat right there.
Okay, in the recliner.
In the recliner, and Jason was sitting over in this recliner. And he noticed that her wrap was on backwards, and she was sitting like this.
Oh, no.
So
shop open.
For the people
that can't see at home, the shop was open.
The shop was open. Yeah, with her wrap on backwards. And Jason was just sitting there like, I love my wife. But I can't.
You can't unsee that.
He was like, but good God, Jody. Like, I'll get to that in a second. And, but he said magically, one by one, all these guys kept coming in the room, and they never sat on the couch. They sat over there. They sat over there. They were just like, holy shit. And finally, she just got up, and she went to the kitchen or something, came back in, looked at Jason. She was like, I had my wrap on backwards. I hadn't even noticed. And he was like, I noticed. Like that or something. And she came back outside to see me, and we talked for a little bit. And we both came inside. And I just remember we had this very long, very out-of-nowhere hug right in my office with no one around. Like, it was kind of dark. And I was just like, oh, okay. And she's like, okay, I got to go. I was like, okay. And she left. Because my cookouts would go from, like, noon until, like, 3 in the morning. Like, God knows.
That's one hell of a cookout.
Yeah. I've moved them till fall because I got sick off of standing over top of the grill for 5 hours in 90-something degree heat.
That's a lot of heat.
After mowing my yard that morning, so I stopped. It's all fall now. So Jason, like the next night I'm sitting over at his house. We're smoking cigars, and he's sitting like here looking out at the backyard, and I'm sitting there. So the way I described it is I'm to his left at the table, and he's staring out the yard, and he's smoking a cigar, and he goes, you have to fuck her. You have to fuck her for all of us that can't. And I just started dying laughing.
Oh, my gosh.
And his wife just shook her head, called him a fucking idiot, because he was. I love that story so much.
Oh, my gosh.
And so that woman and I started dating some more. And it ended up, it was weird. I just then wouldn't hear from her for 2 months. Then we'd pick up and start dating again.
That's strange.
For 2 or 3 times. Then I wouldn't hear from her for 2 or 3 months. And then she'd start dating again. And then it just kind of flipped to a point where I was like, I can't keep doing this. I actually care about her. And I want to see her. And I realized something. I'm trying to think how to put this. She was the first person where I realized there was such a thing as what I call a floater.
A floater.
Yes.
Let's elaborate on that.
Floater means she kind of floats through life and can do whatever she wants because guys are pigs and want to fuck her. But the thing is, because that is her life, she doesn't see it. So have you ever seen the movie Liar Liar?
Yes.
So you know the scene in the elevator where he walks in and the woman's standing there and she's very zoftig. That's another Yiddish word. He was like, "Oh, you're new to the bill," and she's like, "Yeah, everybody's so nice." And he's like, "Yeah, it's because you have big tits."
Yes.
That's a floater. So this woman that I was dating was kind of like floating for. People were literally handing her these baller jobs. Like, I can't get into it without explaining, like, but it was just like she kept getting handed these jobs. It was like, okay, who in the company's trying to fuck you? And you would figure, I'd figure, when we became friends, I started being like, okay, that guy's, don't hang around. She's like, oh no, he's always just so nice to me and he buys me dinner. I was like, no.
He's expecting something.
So we became friends for a while and we hit a point where we were okay being friends. And then she kind of fucked me over on something. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then she completely, it flew over her head.
She just didn't get it?
She didn't get it. She was like, I was like, you were supposed to do this. I don't remember agreeing to that. And I was like, if you looked at our text thread, it's literally right above. She's like, well, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I was like, it's scroll up one and you'll see it. She was like, and she ended that with, well, I hope one day we meet, somebody introduce us to one another, and we can start all over.
Oblivious
like
to
we
life.
Like we never met before. Sorry.
Oblivious to life.
Yes. So here's the funny part.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot about a funny story with her. So that was Jason's story. So his wife was pissed at me. Like, you can't date her. She's fucking stupid, and she's beneath you. And then another friend of mine, his wife was doing the same thing. Like, she's fucking stupid and she's beneath you. And the husband behind me was like saying no and giving me a thumbs up. Like, but then I had other female friends who I think were more, I'm sorry if she hears this, but I think were a little bit more comfortable in themselves. So they were like, no, she's hot and she's nice and she's sweet to you. This is great. Like,
yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Why not try?
But floater, I call her a floater.
A floater.
And then
interesting.
Same thing. There was another woman I dated that it was the exact same thing. Like, she ridiculously attractive. I can't believe we actually went out and kind of did the same thing to me, where she just we dated and then she just kind of disappeared again. And then it was the same thing with both of those women, which cracked me up. We dated, then they disappeared, then we dated, then we disappeared. Then
I feel like the floating kind of takes on two meetings there. They just kind of float away.
And then she kind of did the same thing, that she kind of fucked me over on a job. She's also a designer, and she kind of fucked me over on a job and then was ballsy enough to be oblivious to it and invite me to something. And I was like, okay, I'm done. And I think I even tried to be polite to her one more time. And then...
maybe you're just too nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
What if you start being mean?
I'm sure there are a lot more that would disagree with you on that sentiment, that I am not nice. That's the weird thing. I don't know if I've said this before on this. I think a lot of the people I've dated, not a lot, I think there's a lot that would call me an asshole just because they don't want to be the bad guy. My friend who was shitty to me and who's been... was married for a bunch of years and then told me how it was on dating. In her mind, I'm the dick because I don't hang out with her anymore. Like, because she's not wrong. She can't be wrong. Like, I think
sounds like a personal problem.
I think there's a lot of people who don't want to admit that they were the bad guy or they were the asshole. And so
we're all the asshole at some point.
So for that, they turn it and flip it around on the other person. Like, no, they're the reason why this ended. I was like, no, that's
mirroring.
There's some people I've had to point out. I was like, no, this and this happened. They're like, well, it's like, that's not how you start that sentence. It's like, there is no well, there is no but. It's like, just admit you're a dick and we can move on. But a lot of people don't want to do that.
A lot of people struggle with that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're going back to your notepad.
I couldn't remember what I wrote.
Goddamn, I said, what did I say, 2.5, almost married?
Yeah.
Could almost do another half.
Really?
Yeah. But, yeah.
Is it worth adding to the list?
She's on the list.
Oh, she's on the list?
Yeah. And I actually saw her the other day. we're 3 dudes. And I was like, oh, great. That's awesome. She was great. We connected. Oh, we met at a show. We were at Barley's. She picked me up. And she's another one that was, I looked at her and I was like, why the fuck is she going out with me? Like, when she picked me up, I was like, I don't understand. She's way too pretty. She's way too sweet. She's way too amazing.
You know, you've said that a lot.
I know. Because I've gotten rejected a lot. And I've gotten told I'm not. Yeah. It's not me that's built up that mishigas. It's a bunch others. And also, if I showed you this woman, you would be like, yeah, you're right. But we were at a show at Barley's, and I was friends with the band, and I was up talking to them. And she walked up, and she was talking to one of the band members, and she's a super positive person, super delightful, very religious. But she was talking to one of the band members, and then she turned to me, and she's like, you feel like you're somebody. I was like, okay. How do you mean? And she was like, I don't know. There's just something about you. You feel like you're somebody. Are you on Twitter? I said, yeah. She's like, give me your phone. It's like, okay, why? And she was like, I'm going to make you follow me, and then I'll follow you back, and we'll talk that way. I was like, oh, shit. You're picking me up. Damn, woman.
Okay.
I thought she was drunk. Turns out she had not had a drop. And she said everybody thought she was drunk that night. So we chatted that way a little bit, followed each other on Instagram. And I think I tried, and it didn't work. And then she tried, and she was like, do you want to go out? I was like, yeah, let's go out. So we went out. We walked around downtown and stopped for a drink. Turns out she didn't drink because she has Crohn's disease.
Ooh, yeah, can't.
Yeah. And she told me, we did have dinner, though. We had dinner, and she told me this long story about, like, that's why she was... Is there something wrong with that pillow?
There's something coming through and poking me.
Oh, it's a feather.
Ah.
But she... a big reason why she was religious, because she was sick for a long time, and then she got better, and Jesus was her friend. But she didn't push it on anybody, and she's just very positive, very nice person. Do you want to flip that thing around? Is it driving you nuts?
I'm probably just going to pick at it the rest of the time.
Until you can get that off. Are you sure it's a feather?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to push it back down in there.
Oh. Let's see, just pull it.
You don't pull it out.
Oh.
Other ones can come with it.
God.
Just let me do my thing.
Okay, fine.
Let me pick.
It's not like it's my house.
Hey, I'm setting on this. It's mine now.
Oh, my God. So, but yeah, when we walked her back up to her car, and she gave me an extra long hug.
Oh.
And I was like, and she was just, like, she was, like, when we had drinks, she was in it. And there were even a guy that came up and tried to hit on her in front of me, and she kind of shut him down. She was like, I'm here with him. This is who I'm at. And she told me the story about how the guy she dated before me, like 6 or 9 months ago, I think it's like 9 months before me, and I think I was the first person she had dated in like 9 months. He was this guy that wanted to be an actor in L.A., and he put her down all the time and told her she wasn't that pretty. I'm going to pull up pictures because...
Oh, man.
Like, you'd be pissed if you... But she... You know, he always put her down. Damn it. Her page is private. Let me see if I can find her on Facebook. But he always put her down, and he said when they would walk in a room together, people would be looking at her because she was attractive.
Yeah.
And he would always put her down and say, no, they're looking at us because we're a power couple.
Oh, my God.
They're not looking at you. Just you. And if you saw her, you'd be like,
yeah,
oh,
sure.
Shit. Oh, I need to, oops. That's her. She's another one.
She's really pretty.
She's like 6 feet. Another one is like 6 feet tall. Where'd that go? Yeah. Gorgeous. She's gorgeous. Kind of dorky, kind of fun. But yeah, she, I'm trying to think. So we went out the one time, and then I was driving down to Chattanooga for a show, and I was like, this was like a day or two later. It's like, yeah, it'd be really great to see you again. And I got this message back from her, and she was like, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm over my last guy. And I was like, God damn it. She was one that, she's not a 0.5, but she was so great, and she was so into me. Like, it was like,
there was potential for potential.
There's potential for, that's a perfect way to put it. So I was like, well, fucking hell, man. And I think we ended up still kind of being friendly, but I kind of, and then she would post something about how bad she felt. And I think I just sent her a text. I was like, hey, if you ever need anything, just let me know. And she just kind of unloaded on me. But she was like, I felt so sick. I was laying on my kitchen floor. I felt like I was dying. People were coming and knocking on my door, and I wouldn't let them in. And I texted her back, and I said, I don't care how you feel like you look like, or how you feel, or what you need to do while I'm there. Please let me come over and just sit with you. No expectations. I didn't say no expectations, but I was like,
yeah.
I just think you need someone there with you. And please let me be there for you. Like, it really hurt my heart. Crickets. Never heard from her again.
That's so strange.
Yes. So then when I turned 40, one of the things on my 40 before 40 list was to mend 2 relationships. I ended up mending 5.
Dang.
So I sent her a message first. And no intentions, no nothing. I had unfriended, unfollowed, all that, so I didn't know. And it had been like a couple years since I'd seen her. And I sent her a text. I was like, hey, I hope you're doing okay. And that's essentially what I sent everybody. I was like, hey, we haven't talked in a while, and I hope you're doing okay. To all 5 relationships. It's actually like 8, because it was like 3 couples. And then whatever. And then 2 individuals. She, before I finished texting the second person, she had already responded to me, and she was like, I don't know what the text version equivalent is aside from sore eyes, but I've got it. And so we texted back and forth a little bit, and we kind of lightly made plans. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we texted a lot.
But she responded quickly, though.
Yeah.
For somebody you hadn't talked to in quite a while.
Yeah. What's the text? It's been a long time since I hope you're doing well. What's the text message equivalent for sight for sore eyes? And we texted back and forth. I was like, how are you? How are you? And she's like, it's been a rough year. How are you? And I told her I was working for myself. She's like, it's just going to be a while before I'm okay again. I lost my dad, lost my grandma, and my brother this summer. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's like, if you ever, and I said, if you ever need to talk, I'm here. And she said, thanks. I'm taking a little break from the world. Life's a little too dark. I was like, and I said back, I was like, that may be best, but please don't cut yourself off so much that it's too hard to get back. And whenever you're ready to get back out, I'm happy to buy you a coffee and listen. And I got a big
nice.
Smiley face.
Yeah.
So that was in November 15th. So on Christmas, I usually run through my texts, and I text everybody on Christmas like, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. So, Merry Christmas. Got back from her. It's been good. It's like, how are you doing? You know, it's like, it's okay. Family has flu. It's okay. Made some chicken. I was like, so sorry to hear everybody else sick. And then I sent her back a message like in February, and I was like, hey, man, just checking back in, see how you're doing. Nothing. Crickets. And very disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, even if just friends, like, very disappointing.
To hear somebody so nice struggles.
Yeah. And I just wanted to be there and try to help. No intentions after a certain point. Yeah.
That's...
I'm trying to think what got us. So circling way back around to your question about like being friends with people, there have been times where I have been friends. There's the one that shit, did we talk about her? Oh shit, no, we haven't. There's one I dated pretty much for 3 years.
Okay.
And it did not end great. And we kind of didn't talk for a while, and then she kind of popped in and kind of acted like, essentially like we had never dated.
Oh.
Yeah. And she has still kind of maintained that mentality, which is
that's unusual for something
weird.
That went on for so long.
And then she has also been at different points, super shitty and super short to me. And then waits like 3 months and then asks me for something, or like I recently
keep in touch just in case.
I recently went out and had lunch with her. I'm just oblivious to it at this point because it's so dumb. Like, it's just like, you're an idiot. It's like, I just know to handle you with kid gloves.
Yeah.
And just be careful with you. But it's just funny as hell because it's like, it's so dumb. Like, it's so beyond dumb at this point that I ate a lot of Tums when I dated her. Like,
ooh, that's not a good sign.
No. I mean, kind of in the early part, not knowing where we stood, and then in the later part of when it started falling apart.
Walking on eggshells. Yeah. Okay.
And just kind of like wanting it to work out. What's funny is her best friend, great, whatever. But her best friend was insanely curvy. And some of my guy friends saw the two of them walking up and was like, so you're with the one with the big titties, right? And I was like, no, I'm actually with the other one. They're like, what the fuck is wrong? You need to get with the one with the big titty. I was like, you shut the fuck up, guys.
Oh, my gosh.
They were being such pigs. I was like, y'all are fucking idiots. And they're like, but look at her titties. And I was like, I know. I've noticed them. It's hard not to notice them. And she's her best friend. So it's like, but I like the other one because she's sweet and she likes me. So they're like, yeah, but that one has big titties. And I'm like, God damn it.
Oh my gosh.
All married guys saying that. That was the best. It was like, y'all are fucking idiots. Yeah, I know.
Good grief.
You're super judgy right now.
A little bit. Bit. I don't know what some of these things on my...
Can I see if I can figure them out? No.
One thing says favorite part. There's nothing else written beside that. I have no idea.
Favorite part maybe in the process of dating?
Sure, why not? Let's go from that.
I don't think there is any. I think the favorite... How about this?
Or like the favorite part of meeting somebody new and...
When they... I hate to say it because I mentioned this in the last one because this has only started when I was like 35, when they actually showed interest in me and didn't make me feel like that's a turning point at fucking 35 to have women actually be like, no, you're awesome and I'm lucky to be. I was like, wait, what are you saying?
Women can be pigs too, just so you know.
I know. But it's just like, I think it's like the one where on like the third date she said, you need to get off Tinder. Like that made me feel really good.
Yeah.
Or like the 10%er when, just her aggressive interest in the early part. Because I was like, I hate to keep harping on the seem better than, but it was just like, I can't believe I'm getting lucky enough to date you. Like, and you're actually wanting to date me. Like, holy shit. Like, I think that's my favorite part. But then when it breaks, because then I think it's like, in equating it to the current situation, then I can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
To where I don't have to feel like I'm walking on eggshells. That's the part that I hate. Like for me, it's just like, it's black and white. Like, do you like me? Would you like to keep going out? Cool. Because I like you and I'd like to keep going out.
Do you think maybe you should just approach things like that
It's
moving forward?
It's backfired a few times.
Well, that's going to happen with anything a few times.
That's a good one to where I can tell about, where is she on here? Somebody that I met that I'm not going to explain how because that would give it away, but she kept pushing for us to go do things.
Okay.
Like, go to McKay's. I'll do that one as a story. Like there was one time where she was like, "Hey, let's go do brunch and then go to McKay's," because I had mentioned that I was over at her house for a party, and she was like, "I've got all these books." I was like, "I've got a bunch I need to take. Do you want to just go together?" She's like, "That would be amazing. That sounds like a great day. Yeah. Maybe we can go get brunch together and do it." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's a cool
food's involved
date." Yeah,
yeah.
I think we had already hung out a time or two before where we went and got drinks, and I was like, "This feels like it's the start of something." We went and got brunch. I paid. Not that that's a big thing, but that's kind of a note. And then and then we went to but when I picked her up, she didn't walk out with any books. And I was just like, "Hey, where are your books? Do you need me to come pick them up? Too heavy?" And she was like, "No, I actually took a trip back home and I took some with me and I gave them away back there." I was like, "Oh, well, we don't need to go." And she's like, "No, I still want to go out today."
Oh.
It's like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
you're not
boy.
seeing the turn yet.
Oh, boy.
So we did that. Then we went to McKay's and hung out. And we came back home, and I turned to her, and I was like, "I had a really good time. I would like to go out with you, like official, like it's..." And she's like, "Oh, that's so sweet. I really don't see you that way." And there's part of me who want to go, "Did you not see me that way when you didn't reach for your wallet at brunch?" Like,
she played the situation.
yeah. So I forgot about that one.
That's just a bitch.
I forgot about that one with the second one that I said was out of my league. That was on off. When we first started going out, it was weird. We had like a false start where we went and had drinks, and I paid. She never reached for a wallet because she's a floater. She doesn't get that.
Yeah.
And so she didn't even she was like, "I had a really good time tonight." I was like, "Okay, thanks." And then the second time we went out, we had dinner and then went and got drinks. She didn't pull out her wallet for either one of those. And then as I walked her back to her car, she didn't even, neither one of those I got a hug. And that second one, she turned around as she was getting in her car and she was like, "I really like hanging out with you." And I almost went, "I bet you do."
Sure you do.
So I stopped it with her on that. And then we ended up going out like fucking 6 or 9 months, like much later. Like she picked it back up, and that one, it was dating. But I still think that's hilarious. She's like, "I really like hanging out with you." I was like, "Yeah, I bet you do."
Of course you do. You're saving all this money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I have been up front, and it's not really worked out. With the 10%er, like she kind of put it on Front Street with me. She's like, "I like you. How do you feel?" And I was like, "I like you a lot." It's like, okay. But then that's the time where she was like, "I feel like this is turning into a relationship, and I've only been in relationships, and I feel like I need to be able to date around more." Then she proceeded to make out with me for 3 to 4 more hours that night. So, yeah, talk about your mixed signals.
Ugh.
So that's what I'm saying.
I think hormones were running the show.
Putting it on Front Street is not always...
No.
I think it's got to be the right time.
Timing is definitely everything.
And I worry with like the current situation because she's a little bit, I don't want to say controlling or type A. I'm worried that if I hit her just at the right moment, everything will explode.
She seems very narrow focused on things.
I think it's she's lives her life a certain way, and she's used to that, and having another element enter is hard.
She doesn't know
her.
how to balance. Yeah, maybe.
Which is, I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last one. It's kind of weird because I'm like very good with kids.
Yeah.
And I don't want to force that, but if she's, I think her reticence is more about them seeing someone she's dating. But if it was the other way around, it's like, if you're worried about me being around your kids, don't worry about that. They will be my best friends. Like, that's been a funny part about some of these women I've dated where they've had kids where, like, the 10%er, like...
So, yeah, because you said you met her kids.
Oh, yeah, and one of them kind of avoided me a little bit. I think he was a little, like... The older one was a little bit more. But the younger one came over and sat in my lap and was just, like, telling me all these stories about all the different Pokemon, like, for a good 30 minutes. And she was like... As I left, she was like, "You are so sweet for letting him do it." I was like, "It's fucking awesome. He's a good kid."
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I do that? What else was I going to do? Talk to Ben about soccer? Fuck that. I'd rather talk about Pokemon. I don't know shit about Pokemon. I was like, he was very interested, and
So he was excited. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So favorite part, yeah, I don't know. I think the favorite part is when I can actually breathe. Feel like I can breathe.
You know where you stand.
That's the weird thing about about the time we live in now, because like the current situation, it's somebody I met in a meetup group. We were friendly with that, and then she felt like she kind of pushed us into hanging out the first time. Whereas I think if we had met on a dating app, it would be a lot more cut and dry. So I think that's some of the struggle too with the nowadays with social media is some people you have no idea until. That can be a funny story about, there was a young woman I worked with who was working at the paper, and she had just gotten out of college, so she was 22. And I was like 27 or 28 at this point. Let's say 28. 28, I think. You're going to love this story.
Oh, gosh.
So I need to buy pants. I need to buy jeans for the first time ever at 28.
This is your first jeans experience?
Well, not
purchasing jeans.
On my own.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was fashionable or anything. And she was very fashionable and everything and young. And I was like, would you help me go pick out jeans? Shut up.
I'm laughing about this for so many reasons, though.
Yeah. And I want to know those reasons as in a list form. And she was like, sure. I was like, okay. I was like, I'll buy you dinner just as a thank you. In my mind, I'm not thinking anything about dating her.
You just need pants.
But because in my mind, I honestly had a thought that I had picked up a little bit here and there. So then I get home from work that day, and we were supposed to meet up at, I think, like 7 o'clock. 6:15 or so, I get a call. Hey, Jody, still going to meet up tonight, but is it okay if I bring my girlfriend? I said, yeah, that's fine. I already had an inkling that she was gay. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, I'll buy her dinner too. It's like, it's always good to have multiple opinions. She's like, okay, I just want to make sure you were okay with that. I was like, yeah, totally fine. So we met up out at Easttown. We went to, I think, Old Navy. And I was like, all right, here we are. Pick them out. And they picked out 2 pairs of jeans. I went and tried them on. They had rips or something in them.
Of course they did.
And so I took them off. Again, my first time buying pants. I took them off and walked out, and they're like, weren't you going to show? I was like, no, y'all picked them out, so I'm sure they're fine. And they were like, oh, no, that's not how this works. I was like, oh. I was like, do you want me to put them back on? They're like, if you're okay with it, we're okay with it. I was like, I'm fine. Y'all picked them out. They're fine. And they were like, okay. So then we had dinner, and her girlfriend could not stop hammering me about shit. About just weird shit to where the next day my friend came over and sat on my desk, and she was like, are you a Republican? I was like, no. And she was like, she thought you were a Republican. I was like, no, she's young, and she's full of piss and vinegar. And the fact that I didn't agree with her on everything, she didn't understand. She's like, okay. She just thought you were a Republican. I was like, no, she thinks I'm a Republican because I'm a white dude. And she's like, okay. I was like, and because I'm comfortable with how I feel. And everything is not black or white.
No.
So, and she's like, you can have more than one thought without. And this is also like, was that 12 years ago? So this is like pre-Obama. Like this is like not even in the climate we're in now. Like this was a little bit loose. But it just cracked me up. Although I'm going to tell one of the funniest stories ever. So, because you said, what'd you say, women are pigs too?
Yeah, they can be.
Gotcha.
Women are pigs too.
So this friend, she said that she dated the same guy in high school. They went to college. She got into college, and then she was like, realized she was gay. So she came out to her parents. Her parents decided they were religious, and so did her sister, and they essentially disowned her, and it was really hard. Then she went out and started dating. Now this woman God, it does seem like I'm saying 6 foot a lot. She's like 6 foot tall, thin, beautiful young woman. Beautiful, stunning young woman. And she starts dating, and everybody is very butch. And she honestly, she sat down at my desk and told me, she's like, this is what I gave up my entire life for. I don't find these women attractive. And this is the only thing out there. Holy shit, I just gave up everything for this. And she was not doing good, and then she met the woman who would become her girlfriend, who would become her wife, who's very pretty, a little bit dorky. Hope she doesn't. Man, that's fine. Sweet. They're both sweet. And she said she met her, and then she introduced her to all of her friends. And she's like, and then I walk in this room, and it's nothing but hot lesbians. and I looked at her, I was like, you're such an asshole. I was like, you are so lucky I'm not a pig right now, because I went, oh yeah, or something like that.
God.
I was like, you're such a dumbass. And she's like, I kind of was doing that to see what you say. I was like, you're an asshole. I was like, you're sitting here talking to me about hot lesbians, you dick, like that. And I was like, but she was like, they were all insanely hot. And I was like, good. I was like, are you happy you're with you? And she's like, yeah, I love her. It's like, really, there weren't any other ones in the group? And she's like, oh, no, there were a lot that were very hot. I was like, you're such an asshole.
See, I'm telling you, we can all be pigs.
I know. I still think that's hilarious, because she was such a sweet person that it was hearing her say that. I was like, oh, my God. Did not expect that from you. I'm trying to see. All right.
Say, what else is on that list?
Oh, you just want me to run through the list now?
I'm just curious what else we have on there. You still won't let me see the actual list.
No, because it gives names. And also it ruins the... okay, do you want me... I'm trying to think. Here, I'll tell this one. The Cotton Eye Joe Shooter Girl.
You mentioned this.
Okay. Oh, shit. An older lady. I actually have an older lady story.
Older lady?
Yeah.
Are we talking about gray hair lady?
A little bit.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Cotton Eye Joe Shooter Girl. So when I worked at the print shop...
I feel like this name is a little... I don't know. Just go for it. All right.
She temped at the front desk. She was a veterinarian student. But she would wear... What do you call what you're wearing?
A tank top?
But with the spaghetti strap?
Spaghetti strap?
Okay. She would wear that. Or like... I hate to say what I would call like a wife beater.
Ew. Now, though, there's a wide category of tops you're...
Okay. Let's say white top like that with no sleeves and like that. And she would wear a very frilly bra underneath that usually stuck out above.
Ew.
And she worked the front desk at the print shop.
Oh.
And she was one, and this is the first time I ever saw this, where I would be talking to her. Now, this is going to make for bad podcasting, but I'm going to ask you to start talking to me. Now, remember, she's a veterinarian student.
Okay.
So she's very smart in that field. Now, start talking to me, and I'm going to imitate her.
Oh, God. What?
Just start telling me about your favorite band. Like, have you ever heard of... Oh, my God. Your favorite movie, anything.
Oh, my God. Have you ever heard of Dumb and Dumber? Oh, my God. What is happening to your face right now?
She would literally turn her head like a dog and go, huh?
That's exactly what I thought of. I was like, you look like my dog.
Every time I tried to talk to her about stuff, she would go. So,
like, was her head off balance?
No.
I mean, like...
It's because she didn't understand. She knew about veterinarianship, but she didn't understand about anything else. Like, I would try and talk to her about Radiohead, and she would be like, it would fly over her head. She was also moonlighted as a shooter girl at Cotton Eye Joe. Very, I hate to keep using the term, she was just hot. She was fucking hot. I don't know how to say this. She was fucking hot. She would show up at Cotton Eye Joe. I only went there once in a bikini and chaps.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Very hot.
Is that typical for there? I've never
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah. They made me tuck in my t-shirt. I'm 6'7". I don't have t-shirts that fit. And they kept yelling at me because the back would come out. I was like...
Wait, who?
Because they want to make sure you don't have a gun. I was like, you patted me down. I'm in here. I don't have a gun.
They want your shirt tucked in.
Yeah.
But you got basically no tops.
Yeah.
At the bar. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I dated her for a while, and it was hard dating her. But
why did you even?
Because I was like 24.
Okay.
And
20 is hot. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
okay.
She
I don't
was
know.
one that I would just look at her, and when she'd do the dog thing, I wanted to reach out and go, pretty. So pretty.
Oh my gosh.
Here's where I'm going to sound like an ass.
Okay.
Again. But again, I'm 24 or so at this point.
Everybody's an ass at 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were points where she would say shit to me. We would be hanging out in my bedroom or her bedroom, and she'd say something to me. I was like, I've got to dump this chick. And then she'd get naked and be like, 2 more weeks, and then I'll dump her.
Just a few more days.
Just a few more days. That happened a very long time.
Oh
Until
my
finally,
God.
she broke up in the most weirdest of ways. And that I called her one night, and she was outside like playing with the dogs or something, and her brother or her mom answered the phone or somebody, and I was like, hey, may I speak to so-and-so? And she was like, hold on just a second. And then I heard them put down the phone. This was actual phones, not cell phones. And I heard her walk out, open the door, yell at her, and then say, okay, came back in and said, she's not going to come in right now. And that's the last thing I ever heard. Never heard anything more. Can't remember her name to save my life, to look her up on Facebook to see what the fuck ever happened.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, to see if she ever became a veterinarian.
I just want to know how. I feel like she couldn't possibly be a veterinarian.
She was really smart when it came to that shit. She would start talking that stuff, and I'd be like, you're Jesus. It's almost like a savant. Like when it came to that stuff, she was super smart.
So she's a super hot savant.
Yeah. When it came to that, nothing else. So also when I worked there, here's another one off the list. I got to talk about the older lady too.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the people that gave us work there at the print shop, her daughter would always be, it was almost like pulling my hair. Like she would be so shitty to me. And like there we used to hire temps to help sort the mail. So her daughter, it was like she was in college. So she was 21 or 22. And instead of sorting the mail out with the older lady, she would come and she had a boyfriend, but she would hang in my office and she would shit on me. But then she would it was like she was interested in me, but she had a boyfriend. Like it was super weird. And she would come in there and hang out with me and shit on me and then, but still come in. It was super weird. It was also one of those is like, I don't think you want to go out with me. Like, but you have a boyfriend and you don't know how to reckon with all that. Now that I'm older, I can see that. But it was funny as shit. So I was like, why are you so shitty to me? Like, but it was like.
It was more of she's just mad at the situation.
Yeah. That was funny. Older lady.
Yeah.
So one of our clients there, they were based in Sevier County. So I was kind of their main point of contact, so I'd have to go out there and meet with them. And she kept trying to get me to go out there, and then her and one of the other ladies, they were like, you need to come out here and grab beer with us sometime and all that. And the lady, the main lady, I was like, she's very pretty, very smart, very sweet.
How old were you at the time?
At the time, I was 26, 27.
And about how old was she?
I'll get there.
Oh.
But she looked like she was her mid-30s.
Okay.
I was like, fuck yeah. Like, and then as we were hanging out one time, she finally dropped it. And she was like in her early to mid-40s. She had a daughter that was closer to my age than she was.
Oh, my God.
And I looked at her and I was like, I would still go out with her and I would be very lucky to.
Not a problem.
Yeah, she's amazing. Like, she was an amazing person in addition to being very pretty and all that shit. I feel like I'm harping on the being pretty thing a lot, but I feel like that's just a part of... Also, very pretty to me in all these ones I'm talking about is a broad spectrum of things. It's not like all of them are fucking Sports Illustrated supermodels. You know, some of them are.
Well, what do you classify as pretty then? The basis for pretty.
Eye of the beholder, man. Eye of the beholder. There's some women that are, I don't know, skinny to thick to tall to short.
Is it just how they present themselves?
It's a little bit how they carry. It's just, are they pretty? Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, I tell you what, there's a woman at the contract job that is on my team that I look at her and I was like, I think she is very pretty. I think most people on this floor would not find her very pretty because I think she, in a lot of people's eyes, would be considered very homely because she dresses down. Her hair, she doesn't do anything to her hair. She wears glasses.
Just simple.
She's kind of nerdy, kind of simple. Not even a girl next door pretty. Just, but I look at her, it's like, no, I find her, she's very pretty. But then there's another one that, you know, she's wearing a fucking dress that's like cleavage and
coochie cutter.
Yeah, coochie cutter pants and heavy makeup and all that. And I'm like, yeah, she's hot, but I like the other one better. So
well, there's difference between pretty and hot.
Yeah. But I think sometimes I look at the one that, I hate to call her homely because I'm a big fucking ugly schlubby
more natural
bastard. But I look at her and I was like, if I had to date one of the two of them, I think it goes back to, I was like, I think she would be a lot better than the hot one in the dress and the fuck me pumps and all that shit.
The fuck me pumps.
I love that phrase because it's so dumb.
It really is.
But it's, I look at her, I was like, she's going to probably be, and I hate to be shitty, but that one's probably going to be a lot of work and it's probably going to talk down to me.
A little more maintenance.
Although I have dated a lot that did not treat me that way, that looked better than that woman. So that's why I say pretty, it varies. I hate the mentality that guys have to have a type, that they're only a boob man, they're only a butt man, they're only like skinny ones, no fat chicks. I only like ones with long hair. There's no one that I can point to. I will say, if you want to say celebrities, I think there are very attractive women that I do not find attractive. I don't find Charlize Theron attractive. And I know she is like a bastion of beauty to most people. But she just doesn't do it for me.
All right, so what actress does do it for you that's typically not inside that wheelhouse then?
Because, okay, I don't know if I'm crazy for this. I actually have a top 3.
Top 3. Well, let's hear it.
Celebrities.
Let's hear number 3 first.
Number 3 is out of my leagues because she is gay. St. Vincent. Do you know who St. Vincent is?
Can't picture her right now.
She's a musician. I've actually met her.
I can't picture her face.
She's awesome, but she is gay, which is fine. But I'm kind of in love with her because she's super talented.
Yes.
So that's St. Vincent. That's number 3.
Okay.
Do you know who Sarah Bareilles is?
Yes, I do.
She's number 2. I'm
all right, so brown hair so far.
Oh, number 1's going to throw you for a loop.
All right.
Number 1 is Jessica Chastain. Do you not know who Jessica Chastain is? She's an actress. She was in Zero Dark 30, redhead. No?
Interesting.
That's what I say. I have no type. It's not the brunette. I think I think with the two of them, it's more about their talent than their beauty. Also. That's Jessica Chastain. I mean, come on.
But they're all still really fair-skinned.
But my default forever and still my joke is Salma Hayek. That's the ultimate woman. But
and
now
why is that?
I don't know how to say this because I'm not saying, I would just bang the shit out of Salma Hayek.
But you still would.
I'm not an idiot. I mean, come on, son. But I look at like Jessica Chastain, Sarah Bareilles, and St. Vincent. I think those are 3 that I would date.
Yeah.
Because I think they're very intelligent, very nice people, and I find them very attractive. So it's more for that.
It's a full rounded.
Salma Hayek is rounded in her. Sorry, that was too easy. That was a softball. I think Salma Hayek is just gorgeous. Like, that's ridiculous. Like
that's a lot for one person to own.
Yeah. My joke is always like, one of these days she will wisen up and realize that she would like to marry a big, schlubby, bald, bearded dude in East Tennessee. I know she's dating she's married some prince now, but fuck him. Like,
She'll get bored.
she'll get bored. She'll be like,
I need something
you know what
completely different.
You know what I need? I need just a big, bald, bearded, kind of doughy dude. Maybe has a bit of a southern accent. Like, that's what I want in life. And I'll be like, how?
Me,
Howdy.
right here.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh my God.
But yeah, so no. So see, I disagree. Although you can count her as a brunette. I'm sure I could rattle off half a dozen blondes. And
Oh, yeah. I'm just
yeah.
making observations.
No. Because you could also say with, like, Sarah and St. Vincent that they're both very thin, like
Small
lithe,
frame. Yeah.
small frame women, too. But Jessica Chastain is not. She's a curvy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a type. No. I refuse that mentality. The teacher that I was going to go out with,
Yeah.
I think she is like 5'4", very curvy, brunette. And then like the one who broke up, or she black hair. And then the one who broke up with me in the middle of text was a tall brunette, but more like dirty blonde brunette, more... the 10%er was blonde. The no physical attraction was redhead. All of them different.
You got the spectrum covered.
Oh, yep. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we've talked about every kind of lady. Do you get hit on by guys?
Oh, you want to go there? Yes. So there is one gay man who's a very attractive man that he likes big dudes. And
So you're just his type.
There's one time he was very... And it was funny when it happened because I was at a low point where I was not having much luck. Oh, there's something I can say. But he was drunk, and he actually rubbed the couch that he was sleeping on and said, I'll just be right here if you need me.
There's
And I was just like, I appreciate it so fucking much. You don't know how much it means to me. Oh, man. Didn't I put that? I thought there was something on here. At least get a day experience, been married, dating apps, nicknames, older women accosting me. I thought I had something in here that was related to that. Oh, I must have mentioned the last one that there was a point where I took 3 years off of dating. And there have been times where I've taken like a year and a half off of dating. When the no physical attraction one, like I did a lot of rapid dating right after that to kind of like, I don't need her and yada, yada, yada. And then I just fell into a spiral to where I ended up not dating for like a year and...
So when you say you don't date, you like no dates whatsoever, no hitting on people, no like seeking.
A lot of that was a little bit more pre-apps, so there was only one app and it was Tinder, and I just struck out. Some of them I would get back on Tinder and just strike out, but the 3 years it was really like I need to be good with myself.
Just your time.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so pre-dating apps, what about speed dating?
Holy shit. Did you see my list?
I did not.
I did go speed dating once.
How'd that go?
Terrible.
Well, I mean, it's speed dating.
I know. But I was the youngest person in the room by at least 7 or 8 years.
When did you go? How old were you?
Probably 24, 23, 25. I just went on a lark. I can't remember why. It was like I knew somebody that was going to go, and they bailed on me at the last minute. So I went, and I walked up, and I swear to God, the woman who looked at me, she said, you may not be right for this, because I was so much younger than everybody else. And it was a lot of old. There was one lady that was like trashy as shit. And she was like, yeah, and then I lost that bet, so I was down on my knees in the bar making dog noises. Like she was UT fan that lost a bet when we lost to Georgia one time, and she had to get down on her hands and knees in a dirty ass bar in Sweetwater, Tennessee, and make barking noises.
Oh my God, you should have ran.
Yeah. What's funny is she was probably the only viable option in that entire group. There was one
That's
woman.
bad.
There was one woman who was like 55, and she was like, "This is not going to work out, but maybe my daughter." And I was like, "I love you. You're
Can I
amazing."
have that number, please?
Yeah, and do you bake cookies? Like, or no, I think not her daughter, but it was like one of the young women she worked with. And she's like, maybe I need to get your number to pass along to these young women. But there was a guy, there was also, it was weird in that there were very few guys. Like there were maybe 5 or 6 guys, and there was like 20 women.
Whoa.
And one of the guys, because I was just fucking with people at that point.
Well,
I made a joke, and I was like, oh yeah, didn't you know? He's had 21 kids by 20 different women. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, did he not tell you that yet? He got fucking pissed at me.
Oh my God.
And some of the women got pissed at me. And I was like,
You were fucking with their time.
I know. I was just kidding. I was like, and when I left, I ended up talking to that lady, and she was like, yeah, maybe I need to see if I can find maybe a younger crowd for you to go to.
Clearly, you're not a good fit. Please don't come back.
But I will go into this. Like, I think in my 20s, I was like a nerdier, sweet guy that took a while to have confidence. It was weird because, so I racked up a lot of numbers in high school, which we do not have enough time to get into that. I racked up a lot of numbers in high school, both dating and having relations. But it was when I thought I was going to be a daddy that kind of completely flipped my script, to where when I was in my 20s, I felt a little nerdier and more self-conscious, to where it took me a long while to get more comfortable in my skin. And that's where like the 3 years off kind of
made a difference.
Yes. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to pull together all the ones we have not mentioned yet, and I will let you look through them and see if there's any you would like to hear about.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Because I don't think we can go to a part 3. You're leaving town.
Yeah, unless that part 3 includes moving boxes while we do this.
Oh. I gotta see a guy about a thing that day. Do you want to hear about the news anchors?
You know, we kind of mentioned those in the first part, but we didn't really get into them.
Oh, never mind. One of them. So I was in the Bachelor auction.
Oh. Well, yes, let's discuss that.
I was in the Bachelor auction. I got talked into it, and I did it. And the person who won me was a friend of mine who is a married woman. And so I was the second one up. And the first guy up was a like 5'5" firefighter who picked up 2 different women and carried them in their chairs on the stage and then ripped off his shirt.
Well, damn, that's kind of hard to follow.
And I was like, fuck me. Seriously? That's where, God damn it. So and they were like, okay, so when you walk, so we were standing in the back and there were all these tables sitting around there. Like, when you walk through, we want you to like dance and show like it's a fucking meat market. It's creepy as shit. So, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I walked out.
Did you wear pants for the event?
I did. I wore a suit and tie to that one. So yeah, but right in the middle of this, I'm going to say, so the things at the top are the women, and there is one more note that I'm wondering if it's too crude to mention, which I will just turn around and show you.
So let me see.
I'm going to make it much bigger. Heavily. Like, but I don't know that I want to talk about that. So, But I've thought it was worth throwing in there.
I feel like it might be.
Okay.
Maybe wrap up with that.
Big finish. So when I walked out to Dawes's. We lost her. I walked up to Dawes's When My Time Comes, and I just high-fived people as I walked up. And so as I walked up, Dino was the MC, who's a very out gay man, who wasn't drunk at this point, and I'm going to say something very dirty, and I'm going to pre-apologize, because I don't like talking about myself in this way, but I got up there, and the first table was my boss, or my former boss at this paper, a couple of people from the paper, and one of my friends. And they were all bidding on me. Nobody else was bidding a fucking penny, which made me feel fantastic.
That's
and
Dino, boy.
But so the firefighter dude sold for like $225.
Okay.
So that table is bidding up to where there's like 4 women going crazy, like bidding, and they keep going higher and higher and higher. And they hit a certain point where Dino turns to me and he was like, "What do they see in you?" or something like that. He was like, "They're going crazy for you." I wish I would have said they can see the size 16s from down front.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I wish I had been quicker. Dino, if he had been drunk, he would have shit a kidney. And I said that. But I think I
feel like that would have worked well, though.
I know. I think, it's all creepy old women at that thing.
Well, yeah.
But, also the woman I dated for 3 years, she was there and bought a guy for like $125. And that was sad.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, so they bid on me. But what I think I said was, I think they like the strong silent type. Like under my breath. He was like, I guess. Like he didn't know what the fuck to do. I ended up going for like $475.
Oh my God.
And I was like within the top 5 of the most money generators. I was like, "You goddamn right. Fuck you fucking firefighter." Like, put me up against a damn firefighter, you fucking asshole. Like, some of these are dirty. Ooh, I don't like,
Revisiting that list, huh?
Yeah. Well, I reused the word in what I showed you, so it's in here a time or two.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, I went through that thing, and the woman who put it on, one of her close friends was a news anchor in town. And so she popped up on OkCupid, and she sent me a message. She was like, "Weren't you in the Bachelor auction?" I was like, "I was." And so we started chatting, and she's like, "How'd it go with your date?" I was like, "Well, to be honest, it was a friend of mine, and the thought was I would watch her son while her and her husband went out on a date. Because you got a packet that was like, here's dinner and an event. And it was like dinner at Crew and going to the comedy club, Side Splitters out there. So
they got to enjoy the rewards.
But they ended up not even using them.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
I know. Well, they lived in Sevierville, so it was kind of hard. And he was a cop, and she worked during the day. Anyway. So so the news anchor and I ended up, she asked me out. We went out. And we went out a few times. That's like when Peter Kern first opened. That was another one I deserved a punch card for how many times I took dates. Do you not know the Peter Kern?
No.
Fuck. How long until you leave town?
Saturday.
Shit. Okay, Peter Kern is a speakeasy bar in Market Square. You have to enter through the...
Is that in the alley?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been by that. I have not been in that.
Damn it, woman. Okay.
I didn't know the name.
Yeah. Although now they have dress code, I would have to put on pants if I went in there.
Oh, that's asking for a lot.
It's awesome. But when it first opened, that was the best place to take dates because not a lot of people knew about it. And it was it felt kind of baller to go in there if the kids are still using the term baller.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't give a fuck. But so I went out with her a few times, and it hit a point to where she was like, "There's a guy I used to date that I think we're going to try and make a go at it again. I'm really sorry. You're a really great guy. I actually have a friend I would like to set you up with. I was like,
interesting.
another news anchor. I was like, okay. It's like, you know what? We had only gone on like 2 or 3 dates. I was like, you know what? I'm not super invested. Sure, why not? So I ended up going out with that news anchor. She was fucking nuts. When we went out, it would be like, all right, so she would be on the 6
What was
o'clock.
she doing? Like interviewing you? Basically?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, no, even worse than that.
Oh, gosh.
She wasn't one of the... Sorry, she wasn't an anchor. She was a reporter. So she was like an in-the-field reporter. So she would... When we would go out, she'd be like, okay, I'm on the 6 o'clock news. I get out there at 6:30. I can meet you for beer, but I need to leave by 8 because I have to get sleep so I don't look puffy and stuff tomorrow on the news. So that's how that went. And there were times where it was like, okay... After work, I'm going to go for a run, and we can meet at Beer and Beer Market at 7 o'clock, but I need to leave by 9 o'clock. Like, that's how we dated. And she never really hugged or kissed or got physical, and we dated for like 2 months. And anytime I wouldn't try.
You were an agenda item. You weren't a date. You were an agenda item.
So one time it was funny. I had friends over here to meet her. She showed up with another news anchor who's a dude who's a gay man. So they showed up, and I sat on one side of my deck, and I left room for her to sit next to me. She didn't sit next to me. She sat on the far end with the guy sitting in between us, to where my friends were like, oh, I thought that was her boyfriend. I was like, no, that's the woman I'm dating. And then when we walked back through here, he stood there and waited while I was trying to say bye from her and get a little...
She brought a buffer.
Yeah. I was trying to get a kiss out of her, and I barely got a side hug or something.
Oh, she gave you a safe hug.
Yeah, and we dated for like 2 months. What? Like, it was fucking weird. And then finally, I can't even remember how it ended. But it was so weird. It was so weird. Although one of the funniest stories I have, I went to a birthday party for one of the other news. I learned not to date news anchors. They're fucking news people. They're fucking crazy. I went to a party... And I walked up. Damn it, we got to stand. Can we stand up for a second? Because I got to do this. Other hand, because I'm going to shake your hand. Okay. I'm going to apologize because I'm going to do something that's a little aggressive. So sorry. For those who can't see, she was just like, whatever. I don't give a shit. So I went up to her friend. She was like, oh, yeah, this is so-and-so. And that woman said, oh, my God, it's so nice to meet you. Do you have Coke?
Oh, my
I'm
God.
just kidding, but it would be great if you had Coke.
Shit.
Yeah. So for those at home, I shook her hand and pulled her as close as possible to me. I was like, do you have Coke? And then I pushed her away and it's like, it's okay if you don't have Coke. I'm just kidding. And then pulled her back in and said, oh, my God, but it'd be great if you had Coke. I'm not kidding.
What the fuck? Clearly, they didn't need any more Coke.
No. So that's when I dated her for like 2 months, and we never got anywhere. And I was just like, 2 months is way too long.
That's so strange.
I didn't even get a kiss from her, because it was every time it was like, you're right, an agenda.
Yeah.
And I think there was even one time where I kind of went in for a kiss and she kind of turned her head to go for the hug, and that was like a month and a half in.
Oh, that should have been the sign. Okay, bye-bye.
That's when I was like, I think it was one of those, I think there were some relationships I hung on to because I wasn't seeing anybody.
Were you just being hopeful?
No, it was kind of like, well, if I don't go out with this one,
then what am I going to do?
Then there's nothing there. So it was almost like out of not being sad or whatever.
Just something to do.
Yeah.
Time killer.
I'm going to tell one of these stories while you read through this. Okay. So, since I've mentioned height a lot, I'm going to mention this one. So there was a woman I dated last year that was 6'1".
Okay. Another 6-footer.
She was another one that her photo was not really...
Where am I looking?
All the ones in black are ones I have not told yet.
Oh, my God.
So we went out. She works with kids. Like she's some kind of social worker or something. So she sounded great. We met up. We were just supposed to meet up for drinks. Oh, my God, she's laughing. I'm going to lose her. I'm not going to be able to tell her this.
Listen.
Yeah. Which one was it?
I'm sorry.
Use the mouse and show me which one it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to hear about that one?
I might need to, but maybe let's start over again.
Okay. 6'1". So we met up at farmer's market, and we were just going to have a drink.
Okay. Real casual.
And I worked for myself, so I have to be very budget conscious. It was like 11:30 or so. So we ended up going to Not Watson's. I was like, Not Watson's won't be too bad. We can sit at the bar. So we sat at the bar and we ordered drinks. And we're sitting there. And she works with kids, like as I don't know. She does something. Not a therapist, but what's it called? Like, not outreach. I said it before and now I forgot it. Social worker.
Okay.
So she starts talking to me. And the way she talks, she's like 31. And this is like last year. And she was like, yeah, so I told her, that's fire. There's so much joy in your face right now.
That's not what I was expecting.
Did you like that impersonation?
I really
what's
did.
Sad is it is dead on. And she was another one that like her photos did not really match her. She wore so much fucking makeup. And this was like middle of the summer. It was hot.
Ooh, how do you wear that much? It melts.
So.
Okay.
But we get a drink and then she was like, are you hungry? I was like, well, no, I ate oatmeal before I came. She's like, well, I'm kind of hungry. Can we order something? So I was like, fuck, I guess I'm eating breakfast again. So I ate a little bit and she ate something and we drank more and she wanted to get, like, we were up to our third drink each and she wanted to get something else or go somewhere else. I was like, you know what? I need to go home. And like, it was okay, but it wasn't great. I guess if I've been pretty bluntly honest on this, I'm trying to think. Okay.
You have. Yeah.
She had very big boobs. I was just kind of like, maybe it's worth it for the boobs. And by the second drink, I was like, I don't think it's worth it for the boobs. Like, I don't mean to be I keep saying that because I feel like there's a lot of instances where it's like, well, but you're a pig, so that's fine. It's like, no, it's just sometimes being a pig is okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's definitely not.
Yeah. So, but yeah, by the second drink, and then when it came time to pay the bill.
Oh, gosh.
I hate to keep bringing this up, but it's kind of fucked up. Like, it's 2019. The guy comes, brings the bill, takes it back, runs my card, brings back the thing with the pen, and she goes, oh, I could have paid for. I was like, it's fine. The bill was like $74.
Also, you each had 3 drinks and food. So much for that budget.
Plus tip. I spent almost $100 on somebody I'm never going to see again. And I never saw her again. I don't even think that one I even tried to give a second attempt. I was like,
see, I feel like first date, like hang out, just meet somebody. Why can't you go Dutch?
You would think. But that's not the case.
Ugh.
I have had some women go, I am paying for this one. And I was like, that's
nice.
Fine. And it's like, I think the 10%er, her rule was like, she tried to pay as much as possible, but I'm also very Southern. But it was like every third one. She was like, she would almost fuss at me like, I'm paying for this one. I was like, okay, thank you. She's also like executive director of a nonprofit. She could really afford it.
Well, yeah.
But it was nice. Yeah. Okay, so you look through my list and you mark some.
I've marked a few. So you
Which one do you want to start with?
You can choose a few of those if you'd like. To start with, we have to go with the first one that I marked.
Damn it. See, this is getting into a realm I don't really like talking about, but
well, if you don't want to talk about it, you shouldn't put it on the list. It's
not about that. It's about how I got there.
Okay. Well, we don't have to talk about it.
I'm trying to think of I think I've talked about enough stuff to where I'm fucked at this point if my mom listens to this.
Yeah, clearly a long time ago, yes.
Okay.
Probably within the first 15 minutes.
Okay. Thanks, asshole.
You're the one sharing.
Yeah. These may never get released. So when I was in high school, I hung out with these two brothers. And by brothers, I mean they were white dudes. They were actual brothers. That they may have grown their own weed.
They may have.
And I may have hung out with them a lot. And I may have sold a little bit for them.
Things may or may not have happened.
And I may have collected from people who owed them money. And I may have had 3 guns put within 6 inches of my face. Because you wanted to hear that.
I did.
That's kind of where that came from.
Gotcha.
So there were points where I was smoking a lot of weed in high school. And I was hanging out at their place. And there was one weekend party where I woke up on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, whenever it was.
You woke up on a non-school day.
Yes. And so they had, what do you call it, a basement rancher where you could walk out of the basement.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? So they had a big room in their basement rancher, which was their playroom or whatever, where everybody hang out, but everybody could come in the basement doors, so people would come in without
little
their
rec
parents
room,
noticing.
yeah.
So we had a party on a Friday or Saturday night. And I woke up the next morning, and I'm sitting on the couch with my pants unzipped and opened, and my shirt on backwards or inside out or off or something. State of disarray. Let's just say a state of disarray. Look over next to me, and there's a young woman in the same state. A little bit disarray. And I looked over at her, and she's sitting very close to me. Closer than you. She's sitting like right here. And I was like, morning. Good morning. It's like, I'm Jody. I can't remember her name. Cool. She's like, I'm going to go now. It's like, cool. She gets up. She walks out the basement rancher door. One of the brothers comes walking down the door, coffee cup in his hands. Morning. It's like, morning. What's up? It's like, y'all put on quite the show for us last night. So apparently somebody had laced some of the weed with angel dust, and I smoked it, and that young woman and I apparently smoked that together and made sweet, sweet love in front of a bunch of people. I was probably 16, maybe 17. You were speechless. You were like, thank God I'm leaving town and getting away from this psychotic asshole.
Oh, my.
You're welcome. Yeah. That's what's so weird through like my 20s that I lacked confidence and was kind of nerdy. Like considering how...
You were just trying to get some balance to...
Yeah. Well, I will say, so the end of that is that the night I graduated high school, I went to like 3 different parties. I can't remember. I think it was maybe Gibbs. They went to Central. The 2 brothers went to Central. I think it was Gibbs, Halls, and Central, or I don't fucking know. I didn't go to any Fulton parties. I woke up the next morning at their house. I went to parties around and then ended at their place. Woke up the next morning, looked around, and there were bodies everywhere. Like everybody had just gotten drunk or gotten stoned and just passed out. And I looked around, and I had this weird thing. For a while, it was there, and then in college and right after college, whenever I hung out with a big group of friends, I would always get up earliest for whatever reason, like 6 in the morning, because I liked having alone time. Like, we used to go to this cabin, and it was on the lake, and I used to love getting up, getting a big cup of milk, going and sitting on the end of the dock with a fishing rod and just sitting there in quiet for like an hour before everybody else woke up.
Just a very intentional, peaceful...
Yeah. So I woke up for some reason early that morning before everybody else woke up, and I looked around and I was like, okay, it's time to be an adult now. And I just got up and left. And I smoked a little bit of weed after that, but I hadn't since. Like, I probably haven't since I was like 20. And I keep getting offered now that it's back in the thing, and I'm just like, nah, just not interested. Also, the shit's so strong right now, it'd probably knock the shit out of me. And it's just like, I just don't want to be out of control like that. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I walked out. Yeah, there's still
It's time.
a bag in my basement that still has all of my paraphernalia, and it's a middle school gym bag from middle school.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
That used to be under my bed at my parents' house. Yeah.
Again, sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. I got to figure out a way to block her from listening to this shit.
Yeah, I really don't think Mom needs to be a part of this.
Okay, so what else do you want me to just go in like order of when they happened?
Yeah, let's do a little chronological.
Okay. The next 3 were in high school. I don't know which order they were in. Since we're talking about the sexy times, we'll go with the 2 sexy time stories and then just go on to the dating story. And I'm going to just work my way up. There was a woman I dated in high school that her and her best friend decided that the 3 of us should get together. And I was probably the same thing, about 15, maybe 16 when that happened. Why are you look like you're judging me a little bit. It was not my suggestion. That's the funniest part of it all.
You didn't say no.
No, fuck no, I wasn't. I was 15 years old. Are you high? Not to pry. You? Yeah, no.
What do you mean? What?
Ever? No. No. Very vanilla.
I won't say vanilla, but
okay.
Yes.
You're good. I'm not trying to pry. I'm not. Whatever.
I won't make any comments on this.
Okay.
We can have off mic comments.
Okay. It was a lot more work. They were not into one another. So
it was really for your benefit.
No.
They thought that this was happening.
I guess. But it was just
But then again, you're all 15, so you just don't.
But it's also, if they're not into one another, then you just have 2 young women laying next to one another, and it's just like, I don't know how to do this without getting graphic, but it's just like, okay, Jesus Christ, like.
I can't watch you gesture this.
Sorry. You haven't walked out, so that's...
I haven't.
But do you get the point I'm trying to make?
Yeah.
Like it was just a lot of work.
So then since you were 15, have you been propositioned for things like that since?
No, that was a one and only time. I'm fine with that. That's okay.
You don't want to do any more work?
I think it would have to be, y'all got to be into, I need a break every once in a while. I need to take a breather. Sorry. Oh, you're really not going to like the emotions on this next story.
Okay. Which one are you going for next?
You'll see. So same thing, 16 or 17. There's a woman I was dating that, she was not in a good situation at home. Her dad had gone. It was just her mom. And we were in her room, and I was laying on my back, and she was on top of me. We were making sweet, sweet love. I'm just looking for a reaction. And then I heard a noise behind her, and I kind of picked her up and moved her to her side, and her mom had opened the door and said, "Dinner's on the table when you're done," and shut the door and went back in there. And me, I went, I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. I was done. But because I was 16, I still ate dinner.
Oh, my God.
It was the most awkward fucking thing.
You stayed for dinner?
Yeah.
Who decided that? Did you decide that? Did she? How did that happen?
I can't remember. But that woman.
Did you go back after that dinner?
Oh, yeah. Because that's dumb.
Oh
She also disappeared. Like, she fucked off to Florida. Like, not long after that. Her and her mom had a blowout. And there were literally signs around the area saying,
looking for
have
her.
you seen this person?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she disappeared. And then she magically came back and was kind of fucked up in the head. If that wasn't fucked up in the head enough.
That's a...
Okay.
Oh, God. What one's next? Oh, God.
Oh, my God, no. I'm just laughing because I'm getting away from the graphic, hopefully. So the next one, so when I was 14...
Okay, oh, gosh, we're
going backwards.
Okay.
Bit. I was playing football, and in the summertime, I would get up of a morning and go for a run around my neighborhood.
Okay.
And there was an apartment complex near my neighborhood. And I would see this woman pass me. Didn't think anything about it. And then I would be in front of her, she'd be in front of me, and then we were closer and closer to it. Then we just started saying hey, and we started running together. And she lived in an apartment complex. I lived with my parents across the street. And we would get up and run together, and that went into a relationship. So there was a point.
So you say relationship.
Yeah.
So more than just running buddies?
Yeah. But we dated. We also went out. We went to the movies.
You said you were 14.
Yes. So there was a point where I was 14 and she was 21. So when I first met her, I was 14 and she was 20, but then she turned 21. Now I turned 15 shortly after that, but I just love saying that I was 14 and she was 21.
You were 14?
Yeah.
And she was 21?
She was an admin assistant at an insurance company.
And she knew you were 14?
But here's the thing you got to remember. When I was 14, I was 6'2", 240. I did not look 14. And it's weird. I hate to say this, but this has been brought up a lot. It's weird when it's a younger guy and a woman, older woman, as opposed to the other way around. I know. You're still judging. I was 14, man.
You're living, every 14-year-old's dream here.
She would pick me up from school.
Oh, my God. Okay, that did it for me.
Are you going to leave? No, you got to hear these other ones.
I'm not going to leave. Oh, my God. She would pick you up from school?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, did she have to get you a fake ID to get you into movies?
No, we just can't see. Actually, at that point, I could get into R-rated movies. And
I was
you're giant.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
How did she explain that to her friends?
She didn't.
Oh, my God.
No, we were just... And that went on for I think a year.
A year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
My God.
I'm making sure that it recorded you saying that.
Holy fuck.
Really? Those 3 in a row.
The 14 and 21.
So here's my question for you, and please be completely honest. Do I appear or seem fucked up, or do I seem like a normal...
You seem like a normal person.
Yeah. I think it's just I think when it comes to a lot of that shit, I'm just very zen about it because it happened.
You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. It's what happened. It's crazy.
It's definitely crazy.
Yeah. But it's also, I think, I hate that I bring up my size a lot. I think it's when you're 6'2" and 240 pounds, people don't expect you to be 14 years old. Yeah. Especially back then.
Well, my brother was a really big dude. I mean, he's 6'2", and everybody always thought he was much older. And yeah, they always treated him differently.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I get it.
That happened for a year. Yeah.
I don't get that, but I get it.
I don't know.
Oh, my
Don't look at me, man. I just
okay.
enjoyed it.
I want to look this woman up now. Do you recall her name?
I can't remember a lot of these names.
You're going to have to work on that one.
No, I will tell you, there is somewhere in this house, there's a black book that I had when I was in high school that has all these names. Now, it's can I remember match up the name with the person?
You might.
Yeah.
After reading a few.
In there. Okay, next one. When I worked at one of the companies I worked at, multi-floor building. There was a woman who worked on another floor that for whatever reason, like she worked in like logistics and I was a designer. She would I think I did a project for her and then she just, I guess, liked talking to me. So she would come and sit up on my desk. She was tiny. Like she was like, let's say 5'3", but she may have weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. Like she was so small,
Oh, wow.
which will come into play later.
Okay.
She was tiny. She sounded like she'd been smoking since she was 4.
Ew.
But in a sultry way, not in a gross way.
I'll say, yeah, maybe just stop saying the smoking and just say, a sultry voice or...
So she... but she was kind of a partier. Like she was kind of a sorority girl. Were you in a sorority?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. I don't know. I've known normal people who are in sorority, so...
I'm glad you think I'm normal.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Here we go. That's that off conversation where you're like, you're dumb. You're recording all this shit. I ain't going to record any of my shit. Look at you. She is so happy about that. She was like, ding, ding, ding. I should have made her drink wine before we recorded these. And be like, let me tell you about this one time.
Oh, God.
No. But yeah, she would come up and sit on my desk. But she was another one to where I was like, wait, what are we doing here? To where then it was like we got invited out for drinks with groups of people.
Yeah.
So we would kind of hang out. And it was like I was kind of pushing to date her. And then, and this is someone you can track down. And then she didn't come into work one day. And then the next day, she got fired. And the reason why is because she had went and gotten drunk at a bar and ended up, they found her the next morning pulled up in the grass at an elementary school. She'd gotten out of her Lexus SUV out of the front seat and curled up in the back seat. Here's why her size matters. She had curled up like a baby. They didn't see her at first because she was so small that she was in that back seat and they didn't see her at first.
Oh, my gosh.
And she was still technically drunk when they finally got her away. Because there were parents like pulling in and wondering why this big Lexus SUV was up on the grass. And they finally got her awake and gave her a breathalyzer. And she was still drunk because she was so small. Like, how the fuck she had even gotten there?
How was she alive?
I don't know. But she was a partier. And I think if I can ever remember her name, you can still find her mugshot on like Knox News. It's fucking hilarious.
We might need to do that.
But the funny part was all the people that were like, ooh, you dodged a bullet there. I was like, yeah, you could say that. It's like I knew she was fun. I didn't realize she was fun.
That kind of fun.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Whoa.
Man, the other one you highlighted, it's kind of a sad story.
Which one? Hold on. Which one? Well, then let's not.
We can. It's a big one.
But the look on your face was like...
It's a big one. I'm curious
you
to hear
kind of cringed a little.
Reaction to this one. Well, I think this is another one who will not accept that she's a shithead.
Okay.
So, and she's still in a friend group, and one of my friends who I love to death still treats her with respects and loves her, even though she treats her like shit. Like,
ew.
That's what I don't like. And I have a PS about her. I'm going to do something right now. Okay. So this is somebody that I knew for a long time, and I liked her. Like, she seemed she was in a friend group. She was very sweet. I was attracted to her. She seemed like she's very talented in the field she's in, which I will not mention. But I kind of slowly realized the guy she was dating. So she, at the time I first met her, let's say, was 30.
Okay.
The guy she was dating at the time I first met her and realized she was dating him, he was probably 58. And very rich.
Okay.
Filthy rich is not a strong enough word. So they dated. And in fact, this makes her not look good. I'm pretty sure She is part of the reason why he got a divorce from his wife, whom he had 2 kids with. So I think he was stripping her. He's also a creepazoid. That one of my friends said that he got her into. Fuck, I can't. They were alone in a place, and he grabbed her hand and started doing the rubbing thing,
Ew.
which I'm going to do to myself because I'm
Ew,
not.
please don't.
Yeah.
Like, that alone made me uncomfortable.
Yes. And that friend is a married woman, and he did that to her when he was married. I'm also going to be a little bit impolite in saying his ex-wife is one of the most beautiful women in this town, and was one of the sweetest people in this town, and he's a complete piece of shit. And he cheated with this woman that we'll get to, the 30-year-old. That's what I'll call her for now.
Yeah, let's.
So they dated, and he ended up like the job she ended up getting, she ended up creating because he gave a lot of money to that business. So but in her mind, she created that job herself, kind of in the floaty way. And so, but it was weird in that it hit a point where they broke up. Well, no, they were still dating. And here's the funny part. In other friend groups, there are 2 female friends of mine that sat right back here and said, we really wish we could break her up with him so she can date you. Because she's really sweet and really talented, and you're really sweet and you're talented. We just think you 2 would make a good couple. I was like, well, it's funny you should mention that because every time I see her, it really kind of feels like she's kind of interested, or I don't know. It's just the way she talks to me. It just seems a little authentic and a little deeper than it probably should be, considering we really don't know one another. And so that was at the time. What's funny is when we talked about that right over here in the backyard of my friend's house right back here, it was after I'd gone on the first date with the no physical attraction woman. I said, actually, I'm going out with this woman. They're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you 2 are a perfect couple. Like, those 2 women were super excited that was happening. And then that broke up. And then I started seeing, and then like 3 years later, so she was 33 at this point, her and that guy had broken up for like a year. And I don't know how it happened, but she and I like went and hung out. Hanging out led to a date, which led to more dates where we kept dating. But she was a little awkward, no hugs, no kisses, no nothing. There was one time I remember we were sitting at her house. She was like, just sit wherever you want. So I sat on the couch, assuming she would sit next to me. She sat on a chair over on the other side. And we were like a month and a half in at this point. I was like,
That's strange.
It was just super weird. But we were dating, and we were enjoying each other, even though she was weird. And then, where was it? There was one time, God damn it. I might actually, even with your cold, cold heart, I might actually get an awe out of you on this one.
My cold, cold black heart.
Yeah. So she said, you know what? I love playing skee ball. I would love to play skee ball. So the next time,
skee ball's the best.
So the next time we were supposed to go out, I said, we're going to go to Pigeon Forge and play skee ball. And she was so happy about that. So we went and we ate at that apple barn, whatever. She was like, I can't believe you've never been here. So we went there and ate, and then we went and played skee ball, and we had a great time. A little bit more touchy-feely, a little bit more. She was very excited to be there. She was very excited to get her the stuff she won. It's a great night. I kept a token from that night. I was like, I want to remember. This is a great night.
Yeah.
I want to remember this night. That's where I thought I might get the awe out of you.
I was thinking that's sweet, but
yeah, you're dead inside.
I have no soul.
But I broke you with the angel dust story.
Oh my gosh.
And the mom story and the 21-year-old story. So anyway, so we're driving back.
I just thought it was really sweet. You went out of your way, like out of town, to go play skee ball for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were driving back.
Very thoughtful.
And thank you. And she started talking to me about religion. And she was like, well, what do you believe? So when I was in college, I read everything. And you can see some of them up there. I read the Book of Mormon. I read books on Catholicism, Judaism. I've read the Holy Bible 3 times in a row. I've read the Quran. I've read the Torah. I've read pretty much everything. And what I surmise from all of that is religion is a very personal decision, and it's between whatever you believe or don't believe in. It's nobody else's business.
Yes.
That's what I believe. So we start talking about it, and I told her that, and she's like, "Oh, I'm a Christian." I hate to say it. She's also kind of not a good person. Like, not a bad person, but just one of those very soul-obsessed, very, well, no, I need to do what's right for me. And if I do this, then I deserve to make this much money. And it's like, do you really deserve to make that much money? Oh, yes.
Some of all these things don't really add up to match that, but okay.
It's been my experience that not all, a lot of people who claim to be Christians are not very good people. But we won't get into that.
We're all human.
That's for hour 5 of this podcast. Or hour 12 of this podcast. So then she, we get back to her house, and she essentially breaks up with me right there.
Because religion didn't match?
Or no, I can't remember if she broke up with me there or if broke up with me in an email.
Ooh.
I can't remember. I just remember I did get an email from her essentially saying, I don't know that I can date anybody that doesn't have the same religious beliefs as me. And just kind of shit all over me about it. And I had to email her back. I was like, look, what I said to you is I think it's a very personal decision. In my mind, I do have religious beliefs. And I feel like you keep crapping on me for my religious beliefs because they don't perfectly fall in line. And at that point, she actually pulled a mea culpa, and we went out and had dinner, and she was like, I'm so sorry, but I need you to explain to me exactly what your beliefs are. So, and I don't open up to anybody, and I will not open up here, but I told her kind of my beliefs. And she was like, okay, well, that falls into line a little bit of how I feel. I was like, cool. And we kept talking. She's like, but I'm also at a point to where I don't even know if God is real.
What the hell?
Yeah. So we kind of kept going out, but it was super awkward, and it just kept getting more awkward and more awkward. But this whole time, like, she's, because she had broken up from Mr. Moneybags, she had lost that job that he had hooked her up with. So she's trying to hustle for every penny she can make. She's a rich kid from a very rich part of town, and not this town, from another town, whereas the richest people in this town can't afford to live in the richest part of that town. So, and her parents help her out, like, but so she's constantly complaining about money to me and how she's going to make it. And I'm working for myself at this point, so I'm trying to help her out everywhere I can. It's like, have you thought about this? Yada, yada, yada. So then we hit a point, and she was like, I don't have time to go out for dates. If you want to go out with me, you need to meet me, and we'll go walking of a morning. I was like...
That still takes time.
I was like, if that's what it takes, then I still would like to see you. That's what we'll do. Oh, yeah. She had broken up with me and got back with me and broken up with me and gotten back to me, all on this religious tip, till finally she was just like, it's okay. We're just going to date, like, or whatever. Like, it was fucking weird. But she kept bouncing back and forth. So then we go on the walking dates. So we do that for like a month. And it's great because we're just...
Spending time.
It's actually a little bit better because it's a little immersive, because then we spend like an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning just talking. So we're not waiting on food. We're not trying to figure out...
It's just raw time together.
Yes. And we're talking through all this stuff, talking about all these... Anyway. So it's great. And then it gets to like... Instead of it being like 3 times a week, it's twice a week. It's once a week. Then it's once every 2 weeks. It's like, I don't really know if I have time for this. I've got to see my girlfriends this week and yada, yada, yada. So in this time, I invite her to an event that I am hosting in a location that is underground, so you have to walk downstairs, and there's glass in front of that so you can see the people walking down. So I invite her to that. But in this time, I'm kind of getting the runaround a little bit. And I don't know what's going on. So I don't expect her to show up to this event. So I'm standing there. I see people coming down the stairs. I see a young woman come down the stairs. I'm like, okay, I don't know her. And I see the person behind her. I was like, oh, it's Mr. Moneybags. Oh, that must be his daughter. And the third person is the woman that I was dating. She got back with Mr. Moneybags because she was worried about money. And she was with him for like 6 months. Yeah. I know you hated people before we started doing these podcasts. Do you hate people even more?
Yeah.
Do I at least garner a little bit of pity? Like,
yes,
I've been
definitely.
Shit on.
Like, this is a lot of shit.
I've been shit on a lot.
Like,
and
are you? Do you have like a side gig in like the manure business? Because you got a lot of shit.
I'm going to reiterate what I said at the beginning. The following is not just from my vantage point. All is the truth. I have nothing to gain from me. With that one, if she was sitting right here, I was like, this is what happened. She may argue with me on that, but I'm like, none of that is a lie. That's literally what happened. Like, I can pull up emails, I can pull up texts. I know exactly what happened. Like, anything that deviates makes you look bad. So you're going to try and protect. That's what's, I hate to say it, but I guarantee you, if you sat down and had a conversation with the 10%er, she would be like, oh, poor Jody. I feel so bad for him. He's such a sweet guy. It's like, no, you're a shithead. You shouldn't have led me on for 3 months.
Oh
if you sat down with the physical attraction person, it would be the same thing. It's like, he just didn't, he's the nicest guy, but he didn't, like,
there's no reason to be leading anyone on.
And this one, the 30-year-old or the sugar daddy one, I don't think any of them feel like they're bad people. But they just do very bad things. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I haven't done bad things. Lord knows there are women I've dated that I have ghosted that I feel like a complete piece of shit for ghosting. But also there were some of those where it was like, there was one where I was like, oh shit, it's been a week. I haven't texted her back. And then I was like, but wait, she also hasn't texted me back. I was like, it was an okay date. It was not great. I don't know what to say. Like, I feel like if I tried to go out with her again, I would just be leading her on. So I just kind of let it go. And I got better about that after that. I've been like, if it's just an okay date or if it didn't go that great.
Just let him know.
Just let it go.
Let him know or let it go.
Yeah. Because the thing is also, they can text you too.
Yeah.
If they never text you too, then it's kind of like, I'm not going to assume 100% responsibility.
I feel like both parties are kind of responsible there.
Yes. So, I don't know. Was that a sad?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of depressing on a few notes.
I'll give you a funny. So, that same night. Wait. I'm going to have to come back to that because you're going to love somebody you already love. But you're going to love him anymore because of that. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So because she's still in that friend group, there was one time I was up hanging out at that friend group. She shows up. She comes over and sits across from me, and she's like, hey, Jody, how's it going?
Like nothing?
Like nothing happened. This was like maybe 6 months. This was after she had broke up with Mr. Moneybags again. So now I'm going to go back in time. So that night of my event was a first Friday night.
Yes.
She showed up to another location with our friend Sean, and she walked in with Mr. Moneybags. And when they walked in, he was across the room, and Sean said he literally out loud went, "Oh, fuck you."
Oh, my God.
He was so pissed that she hurt me.
Yeah.
But he was just like, "Oh, fuck you." Now, since then, God love him, he has employed her to help him with some shit. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing that he's too nice of a guy. And it's funny because I know she's just trying like hell to make any penny she can now. Because she doesn't. Mr. Moneybags since got married again and knocked up a woman who was probably maybe late 30s or 40 when he's early 60s. Yeah. Yeah, you're making like a lizard face right now.
Yuck.
Let me see if any of these you didn't bold are actually funny ones.
Well, okay, so you were talking about like...
Or, yeah, if you have questions, please.
Yeah, so you were talking about she likes skee ball.
Yeah.
You decided, you know what? Let's go out of the way. Let's play skee ball specifically for that.
Yeah.
How many of the dates you're going on are you planning or doing something special or significant or trying to be memorable.
Here's a weird thing with dates. I feel like the first one should be coffee, a drink, or food. And I've had a few women go, that's boring. I was like, but I don't know about you. Like, let me know about you before we can plan. Now, once they get to like 3 dates or something, then I start being like, okay.
Effort.
I'd start putting effort. I will say, because I am the nerd when it comes to food or cool places to go, I end up being the one who has to make the decision, and it's fucking taxing. Because my friends treat me that way too. Well, I don't care. Wherever you want to go. I was like, well, what about this place? Well, I don't know about that place. Like, God damn it, that's not an answer. Like, so I think it ends up being, yes, I do make effort. Like, let's go with the current situation.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out stuff she is into, but I think she's just not into that much stuff. So it's kind of...
Her focus is on some other very specific things right now.
Yes. But it's like, so the first time we hung out, I was waiting on her to be done with something, so I went to a bookstore and hung out. And so we kind of walked around the bookstore for 30 minutes. That's fun to me. I don't know if that's fun to anybody else, but she seemed to enjoy it. She bought a couple books to where it's like, can we do that? Because then you kind of get to know one another. You see what the other one's buying as far as... But she is like only into poetry, so she is only into that section to where it's kind of like, well, fuck, I can't talk to you a lot about that because I'm not a big poetry person. And the shit I'm buying is on black culture or food or... I'm trying to see what else I bought that trip. Southern culture. Or David Sedaris. But yeah. So yeah, like that's kind of fun to me. Like exploring maybe a little bit more. Going out, and I think that was kind of fun in that with the current situation, the first time she showed me around her town, which is right outside Knoxville. So we just kind of drove around and she showed me different places. And then the second one, we kind of hung around downtown and kind of bounced around to different places. And that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's like she's a very nature person. And I was like, oh, okay, so hiking? She's like, I don't really like hiking. I was like, oh, okay, I like hiking. So that's a no. I also don't like hiking in the summer, so I'm fine with her not liking hiking in the summer because it is too fucking hot.
It is way too hot here for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that mess. But it's like, I don't know that she's really into movies. She said she doesn't like small talk. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to think of something that I can do to make an effort to be mindful of her. But I also, with it being so limited and being so hard to schedule stuff, like here's a perfect example. So on the 28th, apparently UT has a planetarium.
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So they're having a special event on the 28th. I would like to see her to where I can be like, hey, can we schedule this in advance? Can you see if you're...
Please plan accordingly.
Yeah, so that on this, because I feel like that would be good, something good and something a little bit outside her range that may be more in her, because I'm just trying to figure her out at this point.
Well, yeah, you haven't had enough time together.
No. So, yeah. So, yes, I try to be mindful. I try to come up with interesting things. But I also feel like with a lot of the ones that it's more long-term dating, they can't all be zingers, man. You need to have just one where you just go see a movie. Or you just go have dinner. Or you just
chill.
I hate to say it. A lot of times I would get into a rhythm of like let's say it was somebody in town who didn't have kids. Usually it'd be first date, let's meet for a drink, let's meet for dinner, let's meet for something. Second date, let's maybe try to do something else, like go to a show or go walk around or do something else. Third date, it's usually, how about I cook you dinner? And we sit around the house and talk. That way it's a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more, you can get into a deeper conversation. You're not having to worry about other people. And then from there, it just becomes habit. Or you're like, then it can be like, let's go do lunch. Let's go, do this. Just spending little bits of time here and there together.
Yeah.
Or honestly, what I would love is I hate to say this, to have a +1 to where I don't have to think about it. That would be my dream. To where, I hate to say it, but the party we went to, I love that I have somebody to go to that party to where I didn't feel like an awkward rolling solo deep idiot in there. When Sean and Dale have their spring or winter formal, like, it's a bummer that I don't have somebody to be there with me. Then I end up just chit-chatting with everybody, which is fine. But it's a little lonely.
It's nice to have somebody there.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I would strive for in life, is to be able to have somebody there to where I didn't have to think about it. If I bought 2 tickets to a concert, I didn't have to try to find somebody. I just had somebody that by default would go. Yeah.
Understandable.
Small thing. I think that's a small thing.
It's a really small thing that has a really big impact.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, oh shit. I don't know. Do you want to hear any more? I don't think I have.
We should probably...
Yeah, you could get an angry text. You probably already getting angry texts.
May have gotten a couple.
Oh, sorry. Holy shit!
What?
I didn't know what time it was.
Yeah.
Sorry. You could have said something. This is how this podcast is going to end.
I don't care.
You were too enthralled. Oh, you don't care.
I was really enthralled and didn't care.
Okay. Good. Let's see. I don't know. Is there any parting wisdom you would give to me? I wish this was a video to catch that face.
Oh.
Or do you see any room for improvement? Or do I just need to keep trying?
I mean, definitely you have to keep trying.
Yeah.
Obviously. But wisdom? Shit. I don't know, because it's hard.
Yeah. I think that's the weirdest thing, is because I'm a dude, a lot of people are like, well, you're just afraid of commitment. And it's like, no, not at all.
That's not it for you.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of it might be because of your age and your age range you are set up around.
Yeah.
What you're going to be getting at that point are women that have either been married and are divorced, may or may not have kids, and they've already seen a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
They've gone through a lot of other shit too.
Yeah.
And so they're feeling pressure.
Yeah.
And it's going to make things difficult. I feel like everybody's, in a pressure cooker at that point.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure shit out fast.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think with some of them, like post 35, a lot of them, when it sunk in, it was in.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with that. That actually felt good. Like, to not be, because I'm not a kid. Like, the dating thing is a younger.
It's not a game. It's not fun. Like, there's a reason for it.
Yeah. So the bet should be, will I hear back? I bet I will not.
I feel like you will hear back, but it's not going to be in the time frame that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
It really is.
Again, do you agree with the gaggle idea that I need a gaggle of women?
It might help.
I want to see you confront the sugar daddy woman.
Oh my God.
I will say a funny one. So the 3-year relationship.
Yeah. And was that your longest one?
Yeah. One of my friends who is 5 foot tall and maybe weighs 90 pounds soaking wet, she was at something and that person walked in front of her and my friend was like, I about jumped over the table and clawed her eyes out. She was like, I was so fucking angry at her. And this is a little sweet woman who would never hurt a fly. And she was like, I was ready to kill her. she was like, she is such a piece of shit to you. Like,
Yeah.
she was so mad. And I really do feel like I do need a gaggle of women that I can be like, can you all go yell? Or maybe I need a gaggle of gay men to go heckle these
I
women.
feel like you need both, because maybe you need the gay guys to go heckle them, but maybe you need like a little lady posse to like screen and filter out some of these women before you get to go on these dates.
I think the problem with that is, like I said with the first floater, there are two of my female friends who did not like me dating her. And then other female friends who are totally fine. I think a lot of women bring their own mishigas to it.
Yeah.
To where there's probably a lot of women that I would date that you would be like, no. Whereas for me, they may be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's more of me trying to figure out.
Well, I think part of it is we're always going to be trying to figure ourselves out more.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's weird to not be afraid. And yet the perception in society is that the reason why I'm not married or don't have kids. I will end on this. I'll tell you a couple funny mom stories. That's a perfect
I'll say,
way
since
to
we've tried to talk about things mom shouldn't hear.
Let's see. So there was one point when I was like 30. I'm going to jump around on this. There was one point when I was like 34 or 35 or something. And my mom was like, I just want grandbabies. And I was like, Mom, there are women I dated that if I would have married them, settled for them and married them, you would have murdered me. And she was like, you shut up. And I was like, you would have. And then when I was like 28, I was at my parents' house, and I was laying around, and it was my mom and dad and I. And my dad was like, "You got the life. You're single. You ain't got nobody telling you what to do and what you're doing wrong all the damn time." And I was like, "Yeah, it's so free. I can just go where I want, and do what I want, and I can hang out with the guys, and I ain't got." We were just laying on thick, and Mom's just sitting there listening to us. It's like, yuck it up. My mom's the best. Yuck it up. When you turn 30, your ass is mine. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, God, I just awakened the beast. Oh, God, here we go. I swear to God. When I turned 30, I had coupons for diapers in the mail.
Oh, my
Mom
gosh.
always the best. And then a few months later, I got an email. It's like, thank you for signing up for Match.com. And I was like, I didn't sign up for Match. Oh, son of a bitch. And I called my mom, and I was like, did you? And she's like, well, honey, I just want to see what was out there for you.
Oh, my gosh.
My mom's the best.
Your mom really is the best.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. You would love her. She's all piss and vinegar. And I'll tell that here's where we'll end. So she battled and beat breast cancer. Yeah, knock on wood. I'll say that. And we kind of took care of her throughout it. I used to take her to treatments. And every time we would leave, she'd be like, I want a milkshake. Every time she'd get done with chemo, she'd like, I want a milkshake. So we'd go through McDonald's or something to get a milkshake. She was like, honey, would you like a milkshake? I was like, yes, Mom, I would like a milkshake. Like, it was the best. And I would sit back in that room with her when she was going through it. Like, she just quietly went through it all. And we dealt with it within the family. We didn't make a big deal out of it. So she got through it. Yeah, these are a lot of... So she hit a point where she was losing her hair. Oh, wait. So when she got cancer, when she got diagnosed, they went and saw the doctor. And as they were leaving... So my dad's a big guy. Big shocker.
No surprise there.
As they were leaving... but back then, he was 6'4", 437 pounds. Truck driver, big beard. He is down to like 240. In 2 years, he actually got down to like 220 something.
Wow.
He really works on. He needs to work harder. I want to fuss at him and go, you've gained. You need to. Don't backslide. Like he got down to 300, then had the lap band to finish off, and then the surgery he had was to fix a hernia that had been caused from that and remove excess skin. And but when she got diagnosed and they walked out, they went and got told everything. when they walked out, the doctor turned to my dad, shook his hand, and said, "We're going to take care of your sweetie," or something like that. And Dad just pulled him in and said, "You're fucking right, you are." I was like, I can't imagine what was going on. Like, this big guy's going to kill me. I was like, I'll go, "You're lucky his son wasn't in there too, because it really was scared the shit out of me."
Oh my gosh.
We have to treat her right, because they will kill us. Like, if we don't. So I took her through all that. She quietly got through it. When she beat it, and I may not be saying this right, I don't think my sister was 21 yet, but my sister took her to her last treatment. And then they went to Applebee's and got margaritas.
Oh my gosh.
And I think my sister was underage, but my mom was like, "I just finished my last chemo. Give her a margarita." Like, she was just like, "No, I'm going to share this with my daughter."
Yeah.
Like, and so when she was going through it and she started losing her hair, she called me. God, I can't wait to see your reaction on this. She started losing her hair and she called me and she's like, "Honey, I need you to come over." She's like, "I've started losing my hair. It's getting in my food. It's getting in my mouth when I'm trying to sleep." She was like, "And since you have such experience with being bald." I'm not kidding.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. So I went over there and I started shaving her head. I was like, "Do you want me to go all the way down? Do you want me to put a guard on?" She's like, "All the way down." I was like, "Cool." So I shaved half her head. And she looked at me and she's like, "Shit! I should have said," she's like, "I meant for you to put a guard on." I was like, "It's too late now."
Yeah.
So I kept shaving. I got all the way down. She looked at me and she's like, "I'm still pretty, damn it." Like that. And I was like, "Yes, Mom, you are." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to go." She's like, "Oh, do you not want to hang out?" I was like, "No, Dad will be here any moment, and I don't want him killing me for shaving your damn head." She's like, "Okay, honey, go ahead." So I left. We went through all that. God, this is going to be, oh, God, I can't wait. So it's like a year later, and there's a woman in town who's a well-known woman who gets who's younger and gets diagnosed. She's 45, early 40s. She's diagnosed with breast cancer. Makes a big deal out of it. "I'm going to start this blog, and I'm going to show cancer who's boss." And she launched a PR campaign around her breast cancer story. Like, all this shit. And then, a month in, got them both lopped off and got fake ones put on. So, that happened. This is like a year after Mom beat it, and I went over there. And I was sitting with her. I was like, "Mom," and I never cuss in front of my parents. It's like, "I need you to tell me if I'm an asshole or not." And she was like, "Okay, honey, what's up?" It's like, "There's this woman," and I told her that story. And I was like, "And I see someone like you who just quietly got through it and beat it and didn't need to make a big deal about you, yourself. You didn't need the spotlight point on you." And she was like, it's like, "Am I an asshole?" And she's like, "Honey, yes, you are. Whatever it takes for her to get through with that, that's okay. That's not for you to judge." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "Who is it?" And I said, "Well, it's blah, blah, blah." And she went, "Oh, fuck her." Thanks for being on the podcast.